like to see. All right. Okay. Oladile Saibo, welcome. And yeah, so officially the welcome to our very first edition of the UK Tech Career Summit. My name is Yomi, and I will be your do I say co-pilot? I'll be your co-pilot. Yeah, welcome. My name is Yomi, and I'm the convener of the Tech Career Summit, and this is our very first edition. And really, I'm like happy having you here on board. It's going to be a very wonderful set of sessions because we have like loads of sessions lined up for you. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and just enjoy. It's going to be an awesome flight. Just us getting started, I'll just like a little bit of us getting familiar with ourselves. So if you probably like could just drop in the chats where you are having to join us from, you could just probably like drop it in the chats. I'd like to just read out where you're joining us from. I know most of us are probably in the UK, but I would like specific locations. So you can drop that in the chats. I'd like to see. For example, I'm based in Wolverhampton here. So yeah, I'm based in Wolverhampton here. So definitely, I know I probably would. Oh, Abuja, Nigeria. Wow. It's nice having you here. Is it Abuja, Nigeria? How's Nigeria right now? Birmingham. Raphael Adikmo is from Birmingham, Lagos, Nigeria. That's Chinedu, Chinedu Okoro, yeah. All right, that's great. I'd like to see more responses. Newcastle. Oh, Leeds. Okay, that's great. Up north. Welcome. All right, yeah. So we'll be going straight into it very shortly. Lagos, Nigeria. Uday, Daniel. Okay, that's good. That's awesome. So I'd like to also know how you're feeling today. How excited are you about like the lineup? What are you looking forward to seeing today? What are you looking forward to hearing? I'd like to get to have an idea as to like your expectations, not in terms of ministry anyway. What are you looking forward to experiencing? What are you looking forward to hearing? I'd like to hear that as well. Probably just drop that in the chat as well. Oh, South Shields. That's the first time I'm hearing of that. And I drag baby Grace. That's the very first time I'm hearing of that. Where's that? I'm trying to check. South Shields. Oh wow, that's interesting. I probably like love to visit. Close to Newcastle. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Lincoln. That's Chinonso Onondi. So, what are you looking forward to experiencing today? What are you looking forward to hearing us talk about? I know, yeah, we're talking about navigating the UK tech career landscape, but I know there are specifics as well. Some are here for like the CV review workshop. Oh, Amina is in Lincoln, so you guys can connect. Chinonso and Amina, you can connect definitely because one of the things we're looking forward to having in this summit today is basically that we're able to connect beyond just the career space. Individually, you know, we're able to network. We're able to build up on existing relationships, you know. So that's one of the things we're really looking forward to experiencing today. I'm still expecting to probably see what we're looking forward to experiencing today. We'll still have quite a number of persons joining us. We have about 205 participants that we're expecting here today. So it's an interesting one for me as a person. So I'll just deep dive into it and let's just get started. Yeah. Okay. So as I said, my name is Yomi and I'm the convener of the UK Tech Career Summit. And it's basically a gathering of mostly Nigerians in the UK trying to either establish their footprint in the tech landscape or probably those that have no idea, you know, about what tech is and I want to get into tech. How do I get started? How do I become well established in the UK market? You know, we understand the fact that the UK market is quite a peculiar case, right? And we're trying to ensure that for us, you know, especially Blacks that are getting into the UK market, we're able to get a proper trajectory. We're able to get the necessary support to us getting established in tech. Personally, I've been a software engineer for over 12 years and, you know, getting into the UK, the first thing I probably would hear is, oh, do you have a UK experience? and I'm sure it's the experience of most persons. So how do we even get to build up on you developing a UK work experience, even for those that probably like are not looking at for those that are probably not looking at, oh, maybe building a work experience. How can you as a person, how can you get established, without having to like go through the rigors of job interviews and all those things? So I'll just briefly give us an idea as to what you're expecting today. You probably have seen before, or maybe this is your first time. Excuse me, I just need to clear my throat. Yeah, you probably have, excuse me again. Yeah, you probably have seen this schedule before, but I'll just like reiterate and just give you an idea as to what you should be looking forward to experiencing today. So right now we're currently in the welcome address, and I'll be talking briefly about the first topic of today, which is remote work and tech freelancing. Then we'll be moving on to Amina will be having a conversation around you embracing continuous learning for growth in the tech career. Also, we'll be having Ifeoluwa Taiwo, who also will be talking about how you can stand out as a tech applicant. We'll be having a break, like 5 minutes break by 1:30 p.m. And then we'll be having David Jayeoba, who will be talking to us about AI and the future of recruitment. Afterwards, we'll be having a career development panel session. We'll be talking and we'll be open to having you guys, drop your questions, ask anything that you probably like have as a concern within the tech career landscape here in the UK. Then we'll be having another break, which also will be having like a little, we'll be having a little game in between. So if you're probably like looking at winning something, we have like a huge surprise for you by then. So winners of the game by the second break, they'll be getting something from us, something special, something worth pounds, So just look forward to that. Olagudi Moses is asking if the session will be recorded. Yes, it will be recorded and it will be shared, or it is being recorded rather, and it will be shared later, definitely to your mails after the entire session. So yeah, and also we'll be having a tech transition workshop. So the tech transition workshop is basically focused on, we have a set of different career paths. So if you probably like you're probably like looking at getting into a career path and you're not sure of how to get into that path, we have like 4 breakout sessions, one for software engineering, cloud engineering. We have another for product management, business analysis, and as well product management. Yeah. We also have another session for data analysis or data science, people that are considering that route. Then we as well have another session for product design, UI UX. So you can join any of the breakout session. By this time we're getting into the tech transition workshop. Then we'll be having our CV review workshop by 3:10, where we would actually guide you, and would have like some practical sessions. We probably use any of the persons that join the workshop would use your CV for a proper workshop, through. Then we close out by 3:30, by God's grace. So that's basically, excuse me, that's what we're basically looking at experiencing today. So as well, personally, I look forward to a wonderful session with you. Excuse me, please. Apologies about that. Weather can be weathering. So yeah, so we'll be closing out by 3:30. So yeah, so before we get started properly, I just want to say special shout out to Ife, who has been a wonderful support to us. Ife Taiwo, he has been really helpful from since day one that we have started Transition School, which we'll be talking about briefly. And also Amina, David, I want to say thank you to you for choosing to do this with us. We as well thank every other facilitator, and yeah, I have a session dedicated to that. So while we're doing this, right, while we're doing the UK Tech Career Summit, I personally got into the UK about 2 years ago, and I remember with my years of experience and having to work with local and remote organizations, the very first thing that I had was having to understand how tech career works in the UK. It goes beyond the fact that you probably like had experiences, thousands of experiences. One thing about the UK is the UK will humble you. we've had serious scenarios of persons who have been like in managerial level and the likes, and upon getting to the UK, the first thing people will have to tell you is maybe you consider support, whether maybe you consider healthcare. A number of persons obviously probably like came in through healthcare route and the likes, and which is not bad in essence, but the truth of the matter is we all desire growth, and how can we ensure that growth is possible? The tech itself is one of those. The tech space itself is one of those places where we have like huge opportunities. And whether you know how to code or you don't know how to code, it doesn't really matter. The main thing itself is you can align with tech. And it's one thing I always say, you don't necessarily have to be a coder. You can still be a customer service person and still be working within the tech industry. So the tech itself provides like plethora of options. And for us at Transition School, that is why we started. We thought, okay, we can start something that can help people, with their transition journey into getting started well established in tech. That's one. Then also for the UK Tech Career Summit, we can as well provide an avenue where people are able to ask genuine questions and we're able to provide. And for us at Transition School, we are looking at helping 500,000 persons, get valuable tech skills that will lead to gainful employment over the next decade. So if we want to do this over the next decade, we're looking at having to impact about 50,000 lives, I think, each year, which is a massive vision for us as a branch. So you being here today is one of our desires, being able to help you, support you, assist you through that journey to the very end where you are able to say, yes, I've been able to get established. And beyond you getting established, the necessary support that you need while you are on your job, continuous support, continuous access to network, continuous access to mentorship and the likes. So that is what I do as a person, and as a brand, that is what we do. So as a person, having to establish clusters of communities here and there, and also as a brand, we try to do this as an avenue for people to be able to upskill. So that moves us to the next thing. How we try to teach people is, I've had this experience of people learning and basically tutorial based learning, but we have thought that one of the things that can help people itself is more project based learning. So how can I actually build work experience while I'm learning? So let me give you an example. Myself being a software engineer, I don't subscribe to the route of you taking up a tutorial, just doing some dummy courses, and you now try and apply for a job interview. The first question they want to ask you is, have you worked with a team, right? They want to understand how you build team collaboration, how you're able to lead, how you're able to work under pressure and all those things. So one of the things we try to do, that we've tried to structure in our approach of teaching or learning itself, is we focus on projects. So for example, one of the projects that we're working on right now is an event booking application. For example, you were able to join this event because you used Luma. So you can imagine us trying to build a Luma application, but we are having students actually build that in the process. So we learn by doing, not learn by watching a facilitator just teach theories and the likes. And more reason we try to have things around live learning and the likes. But this is not a marketing session anyway, because I'm just trying to give us background as to our motivation at Transition School and why we're doing the UK Tech Summit and other events that will be coming up after. So I'll just give you an insight into our numbers. We started September 2023, and it's been a huge one for us because we've had 1,204 minutes of sessions as of December. We had about 402 community members as of December, and we've received great testimonies, which obviously can be seen on our website. Recently, I got a feedback from one of our students who attended our webinar session, and just a webinar session, which was free anyway. And he was able to, use knowledge that he acquired there. He as well joined one of our courses anyway, but the most knowledge that he was able to use towards acquiring the knowledge, acquiring the job, which was 2 jobs, which was by Wale here. He got 2 data training jobs, right? And it helped him with his 40 hours a week job, and this is remote based. So this is one of those testimonies we want to hear. We have testimonies by Yomi, we have testimonies by people that have had to join sessions, people that have had to do, CV reviews and other things with us. So it goes beyond just teaching. It's also about like how can we support your career going forward. And 2024 is here. We want to do more. So again, special thanks to our team, to our past partners and facilitators who made this event a possibility, and as well as you yourself that you're here today. So we have this quote in-house here, which is, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the one that is most responsive to change. So how can we support you while you transition? How can we support you while you change? How can you support you while you move from zero knowledge to some knowledge to master knowledge? So that's basically is it. So in the spirit of that, I want to say welcome to the UK Tech Career Summit 2024. And we are going to be enjoying a very, very journey through navigating the UK tech career landscape. So welcome. So now that will be leading me to the first official talk of the day, which is remote work and tech freelancing. And it's going to be in the next 15-20 minutes. We're going to be having like quick engagement around this topic. So remote work and tech freelancing. How can you develop a financially independent career as a tech person, whether you are employed or not employed, right? How can you work remotely in tech? How can you develop a financial, an independent financing or independent career that really helps your finances while in tech? Now, that leads me to the first thing. Now, let's look at the UK tech economy. And I shared this in one of our recent webinars. The tech job itself is in high demand, especially here in the UK. It also applies in the US, but I think I was watching a TikTok video yesterday, and the person was analyzing how in the US, for example, they've not had to like embrace so much technology, especially in fintech, financial technology, as compared to the UK. The UK is very, very invested in technology. The UK, for example, would give organizations tax refunds because of research and development. So if your organization, you're able to come up with nice initiatives or nice new ideas, new products, new stuff that basically like just puts UK on that limelight, right? If you're able to invest in such as an organization, the UK would give you tax rebates, or they would give you tax refunds, you know. So that tells you how the UK government itself is heavily invested in tech. Now, there are 1.7 million persons that are currently employed in tech in the UK. And based on this, 150 billion pounds is being added to the UK economy every year. And according to a recent research, the UK tech could add a further 41.5 billion to the UK economy and create 678,000 jobs by 2025. So if by next year, 678,000 jobs could be created. There are new startups that are being created every day. There are new VCs. There are new VCs that are venture capitalists that are coming into the UK to try and invest. There are a lot of companies, the likes of Techstars and the likes, trying to invest in startups. So and you also we some of us will probably know of the Digital Skills Council that is hosted by the UK government. They heavily invest in tech. So that tells you a lot about tech being a major. And now we're hearing the stuff, the likes of AI, we're hearing the likes of blockchain, Web3, and a lot of things. So how can you yourself align yourself to a very, very good aspect in tech? So before we proceed, I'll just be having us answer this question, maybe in the chat, right? And I want to know why you probably are considering maybe like freelancing or remote work. So if you're considering freelancing or remote work, which of these reasons are why you're looking at it? So are you looking at it for flexibility, or for you to be able to take more jobs, or probably to explore creativity? Okay, I like Navros. Navros says, I don't know whether you're a he or a she, but Navros says that I don't like stress. Yeah. Meshach is saying, explore my creativity. That is awesome. I'd like to hear more feedback from you. Flexibility, and Silas doesn't like stress and wants flexibility. I would rather maybe like you drop a message in the chat. I can't take a feedback by audio yet. To have a balance with life and family, and that is very important. Flexibility, awesome. That's Ude Daniel says flexibility. Aisha also says flexibility. Akko Vincent says flexibility and less stress. Okay, you like some stress, right? Well, we don't like stress at all. So, basically, we have different reasons why we are considering either freelancing or remote work. And I'll give you a little bit of background again. I've been working remotely for about 3 years now, and I'm a stay-at-home dad, right? So this really helps me to be able to like be there for my family, and as well be able to commit wholly, to work, right? And thankfully, the UK support with light. You don't have NEPA issues, you don't have PHCN issues. You have to shout here and there for maybe like having all those issues around that. So Bolaji as well is saying flexibility. Sunusi is saying flexibility as well. I shout flexibility. So I can see there's more around flexibility. Okay, now less time and more money for commuting. That's good because you'll be able to save a lot of money. The first time I got my current job in the UK, the first thing itself was I had to negotiate for a remote engagement. Like, it's remote. I don't want anything else. And you can imagine having to travel from Wolverhampton to Birmingham or even beyond, having to spend pounds every single day on transport. Even it affects your mental health and every other thing. So we have different reasons, much of which one of the popular itself is flexibility. You want a custom work environment, opportunities for higher earnings, autonomy and control, work-life balance, personal health and well-being. Jumoke as well is saying, explore my creativity. Chinedu, I can see more jobs. I can see starting more jobs. Some people want to avoid office politics, and this is possible. So remote job has sort of become the norm in tech. And one of the things I think I heard recently is the fact that the UK government is as well trying to support, remote job by ensuring that it is like an employee can request for it and the organization almost has no option but to provide, especially if it is within the confines of what the job responsibility allows, right? You can't be in warehouse and be asking for remote job, except if it is using some robots or so. But in tech, there's almost nothing you can do that you cannot, do remotely. And so, especially for stay-at-home parents, maybe like myself. So there are different opportunities in tech, obviously, that allows for remote work or freelancing. We have data entry jobs. If you go to Google right now and probably like search for data entry jobs, I can tell you there's a plethora of openings for data entry roles, right? That is a starting point for some people. Copywriting, you could be a copywriter. I have like a few persons I've met personally, even amongst the whites, that are heavily invested in copywriting and they work from home. They have flexibility that most of us are asking for. QA, UI, UX, software engineering, cybersecurity, data or business analysis, customer support, even customer support, product or project management, or anything that as long as it aligns with tech, you can actually, be a freelancer or work in the remote space. So let's look at how you can probably like get started. And I'm just going to talk about this briefly. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat and I'll hope within my limited time, I'll be able to, as well respond to this. First, let's say you want to get started. You could probably like start on the consulting route. Now, some people are probably aware of this, but for the sake of those that probably don't know how this works. Now, you could probably like set up a company, whether you're on your dependent visa, which is even easier than because it's not easy for maybe if you're a student to probably like set up a company. It's not even advisable. But probably if you have like a 9 to 5, or you have, I'll talk about this, Daniel, front-end development jobs. I'll talk about this. So you could probably like set up a company, whether you're independent route or if you have a spouse, you can have your spouse set up the company, or you could probably be under an umbrella company, right? And once you set up a company, the next thing itself is define your day rate. How much do you want to be charging per day? You understand? You could calculate this per hour. This is how much so 8 hours, for example. This is. You can set up on a skilled work visa. I think I will answer some of these questions when I'm done with maybe the entire slide, so I can respond to some of this. So you define your day rates. Some charge £350, some charge £500, some charge as much as £800. So the more the experience, the more you can charge. Rework your CV. So rework your CV so that you are actually a consultant under the umbrella company that you probably created. And then the next thing itself is get on job boards. There are a lot of job boards that you can probably like put it that you're looking for IR35 jobs, right? Once you put it that you're looking for IR35 jobs on most of all these job boards, you will see a number of upload your CV. They will reach out to you. They will reach out to you. That's the truth. Especially if you have that, if you've been able to put it in there, the keywords that are probably like related to that particular responsibility, which we'll talk about during the CV workshop. Now, they probably will give you like some tests to just get done. So whether you are a data entry person or probably like you're a copywriter or you're a software engineer, also they'll give you some tests that you have to work on. Then the final thing itself is you seal the deal, and that's it. You seal the deal. So that is it on consulting, for example. So you can set up a company and be a consultant. I have friends that are in BA, for example, and they are making their money being a consultant and nothing more, and they are getting jobs. Now, I'll talk about the downsides of this very shortly. Now, the next itself is you can be a freelancer. You sign up on freelancing websites like Upwork, Fiverr. I know some people will say Upwork is difficult. Fiverr is the easier version anyway. I've worked on Fiverr in the earlier days of my career. I've worked on Fiverr and definitely I've met interesting people, the good and the bad. Anyway, you set up a good profile or portfolio. You know, showcase what you've done. People want to see what you've done. So set up a very good profile, or if you have a portfolio website, you can set up. You can use WordPress. You can. Websites are easy to set up these days. Just go on Google and search for how to set up a website. You can use the likes of Framer and the likes to set up a simple website that just showcases or highlights on some of those things that you probably worked on. Now you might want to ask me, oh, how do I build up a portfolio? Experience itself. Look out something interesting that you can. Earlier I talked about the fact that you learn by doing rather than you just learn by taking tutorials. You learn by doing. So, for example, let's say I just want to give an example around learning by doing. If you probably say you want to learn by doing, so you could look at a project. What is a problem that people are facing? Okay, people have a problem with probably like accessing cybersecurity experts. Let me try and build a website, for example, that focuses on how you can meet cybersecurity persons near you. Then you start researching on how you can develop that project. If you're a software engineer, for example, what language do I use? What platform do I use? Then you start picking up components a day after the other, and you're working on something. If data entry or let's say copywriting, you're trying to think of articles you could write and a few other things. Because of lack of time, I won't be able to go deep into this. So receive offers, negotiate, sign deals, and deliver. And that's it. And you could earn per hour, per project, and the likes for freelancing. Then remote work. Basically, it's about you getting a day job that supports you working remotely, right? And you're able to work from the comfort of your home. And the truth of the matter is, here in the UK, there are loads of companies that support this. So downsides, before I go to Ideakin, which is like the wrap up of this session, right? Downsides for consulting. Yeah, someone says you can use Webflow for instead of Framer, which is good, and that is on the side of you setting up a website. So downside for consulting, yeah, there's no job security in the sense that a company might not have a reason to give you a notice before they terminate your engagement. But well, most of that will probably happen if you're not delivering well. But the truth of the matter is, if you're being paid, let's say, an average of £500 per day, right? Even if there's no job security, and you're probably like earning that for like 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, right? You should have saved enough for days that probably like money won't come in. So that is the other that's the downside. So on the other side itself is depending on the type of IR35 you are, inside or outside, that's what we call it, inside IR35, outside IR35. You'll be the one to sort your taxes in most cases. Then sometimes you might have to be doing a lot of traveling, competition itself, because it's a heavy market, right? Especially, but the one way you can beat the competition itself is be good. Once you're good, you get your market. There's also limited control over projects because you can't obviously say, this is how I want the project to be, this is how I want it defined. You have to follow the rules of engagement, the contract. There's not much work-life balance because there is to an extent, but if you're taking too much contract or consulting projects, men, you most likely might not have a very good work-life balance, and this can impact on your health. For freelancing, you get irregular gigs, zero employment benefits, competition. There's competition. Obviously, you have to raise proposals for jobs, and depending on who supports or who goes for you. Also, you sort your taxes, except the platform already charges maybe like a 20%, which they remit to the HMRC or so. Then remote work. There's minimal support, obviously. I work remotely mostly, and sometimes you probably want to ask certain questions. You have to set up a meeting, Silas. consulting looks good. Yeah. There's also networking limitations because you're used to the confines of your home. Sometimes I work from my bedroom. Sometimes I don't get out of the duvet, so it limits me from going out, tech gadgets. You probably might have to be the one to get your gadgets, right? That if your organization does not provide that. But if they do, good. Then home distractions. Yeah, you could get distractions here and there, depending on how supportive. If you have a child, for example, your child can be so, fussy. What if you're having a meeting and your child is just like in the meeting and like I've had a number of meetings where especially with like stay-at-home parents, where in the middle of the meeting the kids are here and there. But I understand because mine too does. So who knows? Olajumoke, you could probably like drop a message in the chat. Because once I take one audio question, the session will be longer and I know Derry will be on my neck already. So I need to start wrapping up gradually. So one of the things that we can actually look at is indie hacking, which I know most of us probably have not heard of. But before I go into indie hacking, I'll just answer some questions. So Ude Daniel asked, how about front-end development jobs in the UK? The truth of the matter is there are plenty. There are plenty. The question is, it is you that will have to define. So how do you now land a front-end developer project, right? The thing itself is, if you have a solid portfolio, right? If you've done solid projects, look at competition, look at what people are doing. Try and walk around something. You don't have to be an expert yet, but try and challenge yourself like, okay, this month, I want to create a solid portfolio. Then the second thing itself is talk about what you are doing. Get into the community of developers, especially amongst the whites. That's the truth of the matter. See, one thing I might be kicked for this, but you have to get beyond just the Nigerian community if you're in Nigeria, or if you're in Nigerian rather. You have to get beyond just the Nigerian community. Now, one of the things I want to talk about now is because I got into the community of people that do stuff like this. So you need to, there are front-end development jobs. You just have to network. Go for events, go for tech events, and when you go for tech events, don't go like you are begging for stuff. Let people see value in you. Based on the value they see in you, they would want to connect with you. You understand? Talk about what you do on the social media and the like. How can you set up a company on a skilled work visa? You can't go on gov.uk. You can set up a company, but the thing is, you have to be careful because it will be best to probably like set up the company in collaboration with someone that probably already has maybe like a dependent visa or so. Else, you can still set it up by yourself, but you have to issue for yourself a 20-hour contract. So it's you are the director, yes, but still you issue for yourself as a third party because the company itself, the UK is very, very particular about the life of the company because it's just like the life of a human being, right? So you can issue for yourself a 20-hour contract as long as you don't work more than 20 hours for the company on paper anyway. I won't talk more than that. As long as you don't work for more than 20 hours, right, for the company, then you're good to go. Else, you can get a dependent. Silas, you're laughing. No problem. Okay, Bolaji had said you can make use of Webflow. Yes, you can use Webflow for setting up a simple website and the like. So how can one transition from customer service in engineering to a remote customer support role in tech? Simple. You can probably like look for IT support roles for a start, right? IT support roles will be able to help you because they will give you like scripts and the likes to be able to guide you in that particular role. Based on the scripts that you're given, you can do more research, develop yourself, and you're now studying gradually. And as IT support, you're not expected to know everything. You can be an IT support in one small software company. They will tell you everything about their software, right? And they'll be able to guide you. That's like the simple response to that. So indie hacking, let me just quickly introduce that in the next 5-10 minutes and I'm out of here. Indie hacking is like the latest thing. Derry will be able to help you, OT, as regards your CV review. Derry, please reach out to OT. Indie hacking. How do you get started as an indie hacker? And what does it mean, indie hacking? Indie hacking is basically more like you're an independent developer or you're an independent person that owns a product that is maybe subscription based or that people pay for. Derry is our community manager, so she will reach out. So let me come back to indie hacking. So I'm giving you one of on your screen. You probably will see you would see a guy that basically like screenshots his Twitter page, and no, I'm not. I mean, no way advertising this guy. I follow this guy. And a lot of indie hackers are following him. You can see the number of followers he has, 375,000. Now, this guy is the one that developed remoteok.com. RemoteOK is one of the most popular remote job websites in the world. And this guy, basically, by the side of every single website you can see it, that he has listed on his page, you can see how much he makes on a monthly basis for this project, right? So indie hacking basically means you have an idea, you build it into a product, right? And you have people make use of it. How do you get started? Okay, this is another guy. Some of you have probably made use of to-do list. To-do list is an app that helps you manage like your daily to-do. And this guy is a self-owner of to-do list and basically manages this himself. Just a few moments, please. There's a feedback I'm getting somewhere. Okay, yeah. So he basically manages to-do lists, and he has consultants that he has employed or contract persons that he has employed that manages this. So he doesn't have full-time staff. He only has contract persons that manages the app for him. So basically, that's another app. So how do you get into indie hacking? It basically starts from an idea. You think of an idea, you try and build it into a product. You don't have to have coding knowledge. So how do you do this? You can set up a simple landing page. I talked about Webflow or Framer earlier, where you can just get an idea of how many people are really interested in this idea, right? You don't need to build the project. Just push out the idea. You want to do this, put it out there that you're working on XYZ project. Who is interested? Fill out this little form. They input their details, ask what the expectations are. Then you're able to probably look for maybe like a software engineer or maybe a development team. Let's say you want to learn project management now. You can use that to learn project management, right? Use that as the project itself. Work with this person, work with that person. Pay per hour. You don't have to pay anything, but you don't even pay or you don't even commit one single naira or pounds anyway in this case until you've been able to validate that idea is good, right? So once you've validated, you can probably start with. So let me give you an example. This guy, the Levels IO guy that I showed you earlier. Just a few moments, please. This guy actually started with an Excel sheet of remote job openings. I'll give you an example. When we started Transition School, we didn't set up a website, we didn't set up a team. All we just had was a simple landing page, and we had people that were asking the question, that we basically asked the question, do you want to transition into tech? Do you have an idea as to an area where you want to transition into tech? Just fill this form. And that was it. When we validated that these people are ready to commit, then we started hosting small sessions, right? We were not doing anything much. We started hosting small sessions. And before you know it, people trust to be able to pay. Simple. So based on what they pay, we are now able to now start hiring. And that is it. So indie hacking is just like a smaller way of getting stuff done. So you start from an idea, launch, grow, monetize, and automate. Automate basically like, just automate. So these are just some ideas as to stuff you can, build stuff through. You don't necessarily need so much technical knowledge in that sense. But these are also ideas that also help you while you're trying to build a subscription product or something. These are also ideas you can use to learn. These are ideas that you can use to push out a personal portfolio and let people know that you have worked on this, you have worked on that without so much experience in the UK market. So while you're looking for a job, you can as well choose to be independent and be an independent person. So those are some of it. So I'll just give you some ideas. So Timetastic, we use Timetastic basically for, this is a small application and it's owned by a very small team. And people pay £1 per user per month. People also choose to do the pro version, which is £2 per month, right? And you can imagine the number of companies that use this product. All they do itself is you basically book your maybe holiday or leave request, and that is it. They don't do anything more than that. We have one of such products internally, Sponsorship Jobs UK. Sponsorship Jobs is just a website for people to access sponsorship jobs, right? And it is subscription based. So people pay to access the subscription, and to access sponsorship jobs, and that's it, right? This is another guy. Basically, he shares a newsletter of people's workspaces. People send their pictures of their workspaces, and he sends newsletters to people that are subscribed, and he makes about $2,000 anyway a month, right? For 6,500. So build a niche, something that you think would interest people, and that's it. This is another guy that has a job listing website, and he makes about $62,000 in revenue annually. If you want to get the book that actually details all of this, again, this is in no way an advertisement. You can probably like go to readmake.com and you'll be able to get. So I want you to treat this as I wrap up this session, which has been long enough. Basically, the first thing that can stop you is your mind. The second thing is your drive. And if you can treat it, please do. And that is by myself, my humble self. So on that note, I want to say welcome to the UK Tech Career Summit again. And we look forward to you having awesome moments. If you have any question, please drop it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to respond. So at this moment, I will say over to you, Gary. I think I'm good at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that insightful session, Yomi. I'm sure everyone gained a lot from that session. And yes, let's give him a round of applause. So right now, quickly, we would be going on to the next session. And if you have any question, please just drop it in the chat box. Yomi will respond to most of the conversations there. Yes, so thank you very much, Yomi, for that. And we'll be having our next session now, and is none other than Amina Akugri, and she'll be speaking on the embracing continuous learning for growth in the tech career. All right, let's give her a round of applause. Amina, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I hope we are doing okay. If you would be kind enough, and thanks for an amazing introduction on a Saturday afternoon or morning, wherever everyone is joining us from. I hope, can everyone see my screen then?
Yes, we can.
Okay, brilliant. I have two screens showing, so technically, for some strange reason, I can't monitor the chat. I don't know why. So if you be kind enough, Darren, to monitor the chat for me, that would be fantastic. As I mentioned earlier, technology has a way of making sure that some days are challenging and not. Anyway, hi everyone. I'm Amina Akugri. If you're probably wondering where I'm from, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and to Ghanaian parents. So I moved to Ghana when I was much younger, and I haven't been to Nigeria ever since then. But I do have a lot of I do have cousins who are Nigerians, and I have friends as well who are Nigerians. I eat a lot of Nigerian food. That's no discrimination on anyone, but if you are not Nigerian or Ghanaian, no matter where you are from, I'm still open to having conversation and discussion with you. So my background has been in accounting, so it's quite interesting that we are having our topic on embracing continuous growth, because then it just tells you that no matter what your background is, tech can still be for you if you want it. So let's dive into it. Just before we go into our next slide, I thought it would be interesting to pick your brain on a few things. So, icebreakers. For most of you who have been in the UK for some time, you know that usually when this is a good way to like get people to ease up and then have fun. So you can see there's an animal on the screen, right? Does anyone know what this is? If you can pop a few things in the chat for me, and Darren can tell me what's happening. Anyone?
All right, so people are dropping some comments in the chat, but since you can't see that, let me just.
I don't know why I can't see this. I don't like the idea that I can't see what's happening.
Yeah, some people are saying a butterfly, a moth, a monarch butterfly. Wow, a dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
Well, 80% of people are saying a butterfly. Yes.
Does anyone know what debugging is? Because I want to believe that there are a few people in tech in the chat. So let me give them a few seconds to show off their skills. Does anyone know what debugging is? And do you know the history about where it came from? I feel like someone has said yes. About 3 people or 4 people have said yes.
Oh, just one person said sure, and that's Daniel.
Daniel. Okay. So many years ago, a bug was actually found in a computer. And this was where engineers decided to bring the name debugging from. So if you don't know what debugging is, um, it's usually when codes have issues. I want to try and stay non-technical as much as I can. So usually when there are errors with codes that engineers write and then they are trying to fix it, it's called debugging. So that actually came from finding a live bug in a computer. So at least you've learned something today about debugging as you transition into tech. For those who will be going into the technicalities of tech. Then, oh, that was quick. Can anyone guess when the first SMS was sent? If you are in Lincoln or you're in UK, you get this right. Hot chocolate or coffee on me. Any answers?
All right, someone says 1992.
Who is that person? They saw something quicker than I did.
Maybe they Google search. That's easy.
Okay. Who again?
No one else has guessed.
3, 2, 1, and yes. So the first SMS was actually sent in 1992, and it was Christmas message. So just thinking back now, when we are trying to engage in a conversation about embracing continuous growth, we all at a point in time were sending text messages like SMS. Then all of a sudden, we moved to WhatsApp, and now SMS is most likely not a thing. When you wake up every day, you don't necessarily have to send someone a text. What do? You send them WhatsApp. Literally almost everyone uses WhatsApp. So I thought that was quite interesting to just look at how we've evolved over time and how people like engineers and all that always are working nonstop to ensure that we are constantly growing and evolving. So, oh, this keeps beating my imagination. What would you call this image? A bike, a tricycle, because it has 3 wheels. Any answers? Any volunteers?
Okay, some people are saying a cart.
A cart.
Stella says this is one of the first cars. Someone says a tricycle. Stella says Ford, I guess.
Well, you'll be surprised to know that this was the first automobile built by a German engineer in 1886, Carl Benz. Can you imagine that this was like what was used for mobility? And just think about how we have moved from there to where we are now. Now we have cars that have wide screens and that like they do a lot of things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed icebreakers. So just taking you through embracing continuous learning. I would share a story about myself. I think that usually it's interesting for people to be able to continue with connect with stories. So I started off studying accounting, HND, and then after that I did accounting and finance. And along the way, so I worked in an insurance company before. I worked as an accounts officer, did a bit of finance audit here and there. Then I came to the UK about 5 years ago, studied my master's in accounting and finance, and I worked as a lead engagement officer. That was one of the most challenging and interesting roles that I've had before because it was something completely new and different where you did everything. So I was working in an organization where we had different companies that you have to either be like a non-executive director, you have to be on the board of trustees. So you literally know almost everything that is happening within the organization. So from there, I started getting interested in a lot of things. So talk about products, users, data, because a lot of things that we did was heavily reliant on student data, the analysis of data. And also, as someone who studied accounting and finance, it just makes sense that you are dealing with a lot of data. But if you are working in accounting and finance and you can't really use data properly, then it means that there is a block in the way you work. So I started thinking about, what can I do to keep up with the trends, So along the line, started learning on Excel, as Yomi mentioned earlier on, in his talk. The way to learn is not always just about, just doing a course and then moving on. You have to practicalize what you learn. If you don't practicalize it and you just go online and read, that's it. It's going to leave you. So I started trying to find things that I could do that would ensure that whatever I'm learning, I can put it to practice. So along the line, I did an online course in data analysis. But what I did was, then I became friends with someone who made sure that we worked on projects together. So we find problems, we solve those problems. And by doing that, whatever skill that I was learning or whatever challenge that I was having, ensure that I knew what I was doing. Again, the reason why I used icebreakers to give our talk was because for continuous growth, you need to always make sure that you are staying on top of the trends that are currently happening. So think about a mobile phone. What was the first iPhone? Was it can anyone guess what the first iPhone was? Was it iPhone 1, iPhone 2? And where we are now, we are currently at iPhone 15. So for the people that work in Apple, it is their job to ensure that they are constantly growing, and it means that they are constantly finding a new way of doing things. So you as a person, you want to ask yourself, if you join a company today, right, as as an entry data analyst, and you're thinking, oh, as a data analyst, how can I get to become my manager or my manager's manager? Your manager or your manager's manager might necessarily be someone who has years of experience, or has and the years of experience doesn't necessarily mean in data analysis. It could be people skills, right? It could be learning how to manage a team. It could be anything. And those are things that you have to watch, you have to learn, you have to read, you have to connect with people and to understand, which is why we've moved to staying relevant. For you to be able to embrace continuous learning, you need to do these things, right? You need to be able to, like, I know not everyone likes reading. I used to like reading myself, but after a period of time, it just left me, but I'm going back. So even if you can't read a book, now we have seen people writing a lot of newsletters and articles and blogs. These sometimes are about 2 to 5 to 7 minutes. So this is something that you can sign up to, find interesting topics that can engage you and read. And by doing this, you are able to know what is happening. You could join a book club. I don't know how that might be uncommon in Nigeria or Ghana or wherever you're joining from, but in the UK, there are so many book clubs that you can find. It could even be the company that you are working on. This is a good way to understand what's happening, because the only way to know and then to ensure that you are staying relevant is by understanding what's happening around you. And then I know that you've probably seen this over and over again, online courses. So for those of you who are here and are students, if you didn't know this, your student email address gives you access to like LinkedIn Learning. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. By that, you means you're accessing learning on LinkedIn for free that you don't have to pay for. Some of you might be familiar with the likes of Coursera and all the Google Learning. Sometimes if you're a student, you get all those discounts. Yes, you can take some of those courses to stay relevant. So let's branch into the world of designers. I think that when we started the whole idea of design, we started way back from graphic designers used to be the main thing. Now we are looking at UI, UX. It tells you how design has gone from not just focusing on the graphic, but focusing on the person who is going to be the user and how they are going to engage and interact with what they are seeing. So the only way you can upskill or keep yourself updated is to make sure that you're in a constant mode of learning and updating your knowledge. Teach others, right? As cheesy as it sounds, if you teach, you remember, right? If you teach someone something, it's like teaching someone how to fry egg. If you know how to fry egg, and you teach someone how to fry egg, and I'm sure some of you are saying, "Oh, she's saying egg. She's Ghanaian because Ghanaians we like eggs all the time." But teach people, and if you teach people, it's a good way to test your understanding of what you are teaching. It tests your knowledge. You're like, "Oh wow, look at me. I was struggling to learn this thing, but now I've been able to teach someone. That was easy." So think about people that can benefit from that. And if you're in UK is very big on volunteering. So you could sign up to volunteering opportunities and you can use that to be able to teach and contribute to other people's development skills. That puts you in a good place of constant learning as well, because you would always want the people that you are supporting to come back and then to come to you. And then when they come to you, you always have something to give them. I know for most of the technical people here or people thinking about going to technical roles, a good place to engage would be open source on GitHub, where people have projects and looking for other people to be able to partner and work with. So you might find something interesting there, and you can definitely make the use of that. Experiments with side projects. I mentioned this earlier about how I found a buddy and I used that buddy to constantly keep ourselves occupied, like maybe occasionally meet up on the weekend. Oh, what's trending? What's happening here? Let's test this. Let's do this. I, for one, would make sure that I do this bit of the research. He does this, and then he was very brilliant. You know, when you meet people who are brilliant, tap into their knowledge and their skill. There's nothing wrong with that. If you feel that that person is going to be able to support you, grab that opportunity and don't let it go, because there's something in it for you. And if you are brilliant yourself as well, ensure that you are able to like share that sort of knowledge. I see people doing YouTube videos and all that, and Instagram, and sharing tips and knowledge of things that they know, which is very good, because then that keeps you in a learning mode. I can't emphasize how much this is such a big deal. Attending conferences and seminars. This is a really good way to understand industry trends. So if you are probably thinking of going into AI, you want to be an AI engineer, or you want to do something in marketing, look for conferences that relate to that. You want to be a software engineer, you want to know what are the new things happening, look for conferences and seminars that relate to that. And then you can network with people and understand what's happening. This could be a good way to test your appetite. Would I want to, like, talk, even if possible, if given the opportunity? And then you can meet people who might end up becoming like your mentor, or having a community that you can be a part of. Again, we've all seen how important communities are. Yomi has said about how he's built his community of audiences in transition school, and then people are learning and sharing a lot from there. So if there are communities like if there are communities that you are interested in terms of the industry that you'd want to get into or remain in, these are the things you need to be doing. Join them. People share ideas, people share knowledge, people tell you what's happening, so you are able to stay on top of that. And as well, staying relevant doesn't necessarily mean just within your industry. You need to be curious, right? You want to know what's happening in the other person's industry. So I have my friend and housemate works in hospitality, and she works as an instructional designer. I've never heard of instructional design before, right? So I became curious. I'm like, what does instructional design mean? Does anyone know what it means in the chat? Let me just test everyone to see if you are still with me. Any yeses or nos, so I can tell you what instructional design is. Is everyone with me?
Okay, middle of nose.
A lot of
Yes.
no's. Okay, so you see,
Yeah, okay. One person says yes.
who said yes?
Eze Chukwuemezi. He
Okay, so
knows.
Chukwa, can
Okay,
you
only one
type?
person. A lot of people say.
Okay, so Chukwa, since you know what it means, type a brief explanation of what instructional designers do in the chat, and I would speak.
Some people are saying training course design or training materials.
Good,
Then
brilliant.
Chukuma says for learning and development, training department.
Exactly. So I don't need to explain, but I didn't know what that was. I never heard of it before. So when I found out that this was someone who was my friend who does this, what I did was I had to monitor what they do and say, oh, so you do this. What are like some of the what are some of the tools you use? How do you study to do this? How do you become this person? You know, can you transition to become this person? How do you stay relevant? So even in as much as I'm not an instructional designer, now I know what instructional designers do, right? Now I know what they need to do to upskill. Now I'm thinking maybe I'm launching a product, right? I can now start thinking, will I need an instructional designer to be able to build something for me? Because I have decided to keep myself, I've decided to stay relevant, not just in my field, but in other fields. So again, think about it this way, that if you are embracing continuous growth, don't focus only in your circle. Think about other areas, because you just might be able to move from where you are to another area and be able to do something significant there. So thanks for all of you who know what instructional designers do and put that in the chat. Just thinking back about your thinking, right? You don't want to, when you're sitting down and you think about starting a new job, you want to start asking yourself, where do I want to see myself in 5 years, right? Do I want to get promoted? Do I want to work in one industry and one industry alone? Do I want to become a manager, right? So when you start thinking about all these things and where you want to be in the next 5 years, it gives you an idea of what you need to start doing, right? So it doesn't hurt you when you're embracing your continuous learning, because you know that this is where you want to put yourself. And again, no pressure. People work differently. You have people who don't want to be managers, right? They don't want to manage a team. They just want to do their job and go. You have people who don't like talking to a lot of people in a team. I don't want to pick on on software and data engineers and all that. I know some people in the technical role just enjoy sitting and building codes and not talking to a lot of people, but it is fine. Again, it depends on what you want and how you want to get there. So find interesting books, right? It might not necessarily be on your in your field of study, but it's about things that would help you to get to where you want to be. Do you want to be a leader? If you want to be a leader, it means you need to start learning how to manage a team. So you could find books on leadership and start learning about it. Social media is such a big deal now. Social media now, you can find people on Twitter, or X. Let me just say the right thing before Elon comes for me. You can follow people on LinkedIn as well. Like you can follow people on Instagram and then understand the different perspectives of the way people do things. But again, for the professional context of everything, LinkedIn, if you don't have an account now, please sign and create one now. You don't need to go and do a professional headshot. Get us a nice picture there in the meantime, and later we can talk about professional headshot, and start searching for people and start connecting with them. That way you start thinking, you're like, the way you think about where you want to be starts falling in place, because you start seeing the people that you want to be like in the future. Talk to people from different backgrounds. Yomi said this earlier, right? And I was like, yeah, spot on. Don't stay comfortable with the people that you are used to, because your thinking is going to be the same. You want to be able to span out your thinking across different diverse backgrounds. So you think differently, you understand the way other people do things, and you can incorporate that in your way of thinking. I know most people don't say this a lot, but travel is important. traveling to experience new culture, it helps. And yeah, traveling might be expensive, but it is relative. If you live in the UK, right, what stops you from moving from one city to the other to even go and understand whether the context of that country is the same or not? You know, if you eat rice and stew every day, sometimes it's okay not to eat rice and stew and then try something else because you get tired of eating rice and stew. So if you have the opportunity to be able to travel as well, please, you can do that because then it makes you see things differently. Then now that you have been thinking about how you would stay relevant and expand your thinking, you need to have a plan. There is no way you can't have a plan. I know that you hear about planning all the time and you think that, oh, planning again, but planning is really, really important in everything that you do. So you start off by identifying your goals, right? What do you want? What would you get out of it? What would you be able to do with your goals when you achieve them? So by sitting down, get a notepad. If you are the type that likes to write. If you don't like to write and you want to just make some notes on your phone, do that as well. Anything that works for you is perfect and is brilliant. So start thinking about your goals. Where do you want to be? How do you get there? And what you would get out of it, right? And maybe it could be polishing your skills as well. Make a note of that. What kind of skills do you have at the moment, right? Is it just skills? Is it just entry level skills? Do you want to move to the next step? Or is it skills where you are lacking confidence in doing certain things? It could be anything. You need to assess yourself and know where you are at now and what can be done to help. But because if you identify the issues, like the skill set that you have now, then you would know what is missing. So if you know what is missing, it's easier for you to tell people with confidence that this is missing and I need help. Or I am not confident when I'm in a meeting, or I'm afraid to speak to people in public. So then you can start from somewhere. Resources are everywhere now. Thankfully, we all know how to use Google. If you don't know how to use Google, please drop a message in the chat, and I'm sure we will be all more than happy to help you. Find resources, learning materials. There are free learning materials everywhere, and they are ones that you have to pay for. If you can't afford to pay for those learning materials, let's start from the free one and let's see where it takes us to. I mentioned blogs as well, like so many blog writers all over, newsletters, even like the free resources you can get if you are a university student as well is there. Take advantage of resources. If you need help finding resources, stick to I'm sure transition school, for instance, would have like a section of that where you can find some of this is engage, connect. And again, when you are in a community of people that share the same goals as you do, you would have access to these resources. Then create a schedule of your learning activities. You don't want to be biting things left, right, center, right? You don't want to start something today, you leave it halfway, you pick another thing tomorrow because people have said, oh, this skills is in demand, you get more money. Like, I mean, we see that all the time online. Oh, if you do business analysis, you get a job. If you do data, think when you are able to identify your goal and assess your skill, then when you are making that schedule of learning activities, you are able to determine where to start and where to go next. So you don't jump on everything that is online. You make sure you know what you're doing and you stick to it, right? Then the last bit is track your progress. How do you know you are doing a good job? I believe in reflection, which is such an important thing. Reflection would be something you could do at the end of a month to sit down and then breathe. What did I do this month? I learned this and I learned that. And from learning this and this, I know I can do this now. So let's say you want to do a job in data analysis. You have to learn how to use Excel. You have to learn how to use SQL. You have to learn how to use Power BI or Tableau. So you decide that in the first 2 months, your main focus is going to be Excel. In the next 2 months, your main focus is going to be SQL. And in the third month, in the next stage is going to be Power BI. So as you progress, because you've made a schedule, you can be able to know the things that you've achieved and that how you did what to achieve them. That way, you don't feel like you are just stuck and doing something and can't have an idea of what you are doing. So very, very important to track progress to see how things are going well for you. And that brings us to the end of embracing continuous growth. And that brings us to the end of embracing continuous learning for growth in a tech career. Any questions?
Okay, I think someone asked a question while you were talking. I think that was about your friend that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the person was just asking that, can you let us know what your friend told you and see what the latest trend might be if her job description is different from the general knowledge of instructional design?
All right. Can let us know what your friend told you to see what the latest trend might be if your JD is different from instructional design. That's a very interesting. Sorry, I'm laughing because I've just seen try English breakfast. So what I'll do with this is when I asked her about instructional design, she did say that usually it's the people who design learning models for other individuals to take, let's say in terms of if it's an organization. So let's say you have learning on maybe health and safety, you have learning on what's it called? GDPR or something. But it's different. It depends on what industry you are working for. Again, very, very important that you are saying if the JD is different from the general knowledge of instructional design. The interesting thing about this is an instructional designer for company A roles might not necessarily be the same for company B. I don't know if anyone has noticed this when you are looking for a job, but it happens quite a lot. You could be a software engineer, and a banking company would require you to do different things from a manufacturing company. But happy to have further conversations if you are looking to transition into instructional design. I'm sure we can liaise with Yomi and get my friend to have a conversation with you if that is fine.
All right. I think Tim Tokwe is raising up their hands. I don't know if you have a question or that was a mistake.
Mhm.
Okay, I think that was a
Yeah,
mistake.
Chukuma as well is saying that a good instructional designer will be able to tailor their skills to match any company's specific needs. Exactly. So it depends on what you are looking for. Like I said, different company, different needs, different role, same role, different a different way to share what you do. So absolutely spot on.
All right. Thank you very much, Amina, for this insightful session. Amina is also the co-founder of Help Me Settle UK. I forgot to mention that. So if anyone has any further questions, if anyone has any further questions, you can drop them in the chat box and she would be able to respond and go through them while we proceed on to the next segment. So next up, we'll be having our next speaker for the day. And yes, I hope everyone can see my screen. Yeah, so our next speaker is Ifeoluwa Taiwo, and he is a certified professional Scrum Master with extensive experience in project management, delivery management, and agile methodology. He has a track record of streamlining operations and maintaining schedules to ensure maximum customer satisfaction. He currently is a Scrum Master at one of the leading fintechs in Africa. You can try to guess one, but where he works at the engineering team to deliver working software to thousands of users. So I would like to introduce Ife. The floor is yours. He's going to be talking to us about strategies for standing out as a tech applicant. Ife, the floor is yours if you're here.
Hi there, good afternoon. Hope everyone can hear me.
All right. Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. Wasn't sure if you were talking about me when you read out all those things. It sounded like It sounded scary, but anyway. Hi guys, how are we today? How's the weather today? Good. Fantastic. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Great. All right. So we're just gonna kick off. I don't have so much time, so I don't keep you guys from your Owambe Saturdays. For those of you that still want to go and eat rice and pounded yam in the different parties. So my name is Ife. We're just gonna have a conversation basically about the starting out as a tech applicant when you're applying to the different jobs. I remember my first gig, right? And it was okay. So for context, I have a background in computer science. So the first degree was in computer science, and I still don't write code, right? So maybe I'm a disappointment to people like Yomi and all of you people who code out there. Sorry, just a second. Okay, full screen. Sure. All right. So yes, I don't know how. Not that I don't know how to code. I just don't like writing code. So maybe I don't want to use the word that I chose the easier part, but yes, I'm a delivery manager, project manager for fintech in Africa, and a shuttle between here and Nigeria and the UK as well. Okay, so how to start off? So first of all, let's understand the landscape, right? So since 2017, net tech employment has increased by an estimated 75,000 new jobs, and that's a lot, right? When you compare the numbers, right? And yes, during COVID, we had some issues. So I might not see, just like Amina as well, I might not see your chats. So just in case, so then please, if there are any questions or any hands up, please help my ministry. Thanks. Oh, sorry, it's not. I might not showing full screen. Just a second. Guys, let me know if it's full screen or not. Let me see. Okay, no, I think I need to stop this and share it again. Just a second. Hi, David. Let me know if it's full screen now.
Yes, it is.
Great.
You can go ahead.
Fantastic. All right. So yes, I was saying since 2017, net employment, 75,280 jobs. That's a lot, right? That's a huge chunk of jobs created in the UK, and it reached total jobs 2 million, which is also a lot in 2022. Increased 1% in 2023, and CompTIA and Technician are predicting that it would increase by another 1%, which is still this year, and which is a lot. But no matter how you, so 1% of 1% of 2 million is how much? Is around 20,000. I'm sure it'll be more than that as well. So basically, it consists of two separate components, right? People working in tech roles, such as people like Yomi, who are software engineers, and Amina, who core tech people, IT support, professional employees, tech companies. So your cloud engineers, your business analysts, your project managers, and then full-time self-employed technology professionals. I think Yomi falls into the two categories, as a consultant and also as an engineer. And so I'm doing this so that you guys can understand what it is that you're up against, right? So there are jobs there, but at the same time, you need to be able to reach out to people to say, look, you need to be able to stand out when you send your CVs or when you when you apply for jobs. Yes, the whole population is around 6.3%. 188,000 tech business establishments, 150 billion economic impact. Over the past 2 to 3 years, we've had over 1 million employer job posting, right? Different sectors: fintech, e-commerce, cybersec, healthcare tech, insurtech. A lot of companies that are springing up. I saw a recent report about the scale up visa that that the US did, and a lot of startups are, especially in the tech space, health tech and core development, core web development industries or businesses are coming up and are springing up there. You need to be able to find those information and say, look, I want to first of all find out what industry do I want to work in. Do I want to do health tech? Do I want to do fintech? Case in point, fintech will show you shiggy whether you like it or not. I can tell you from experience. Cybersec could also show you shiggy as well. Imagine you being a one bin and then they're telling you that there's an issue. But so just decide, and then you want to start, having those conversations, right? Leading tech occupations. Number one on the list is always, the software guys and then the web design guys, because they would always, technology, most often than not, it boils down around all of those places. Why? Because you want to be able to build platforms and solutions that will make people's life a whole lot easier, right? There's code behind, or no code, based on the new trajectory behind, everything that you see, from e-commerce to a web app to a mobile app. There's a lot of all of that. There's a lot of code and design behind it. Analysts, cybersecurity and systems analysts. You want to make sure that the system that you're building is properly is secured, and then cybersecurity would help you do that. So your penetration testing to make sure that we are safe from hackers asking you to drop a few bitcoins and as ransom, right? So that they don't kidnap your applications, right? So IT support and operational technicians. There's a question earlier, someone was asking how she could move from customer service to as customer service and then customer service operations when it comes to tech. And I'm going to take a key from what Amina said, especially when it comes to data. You need to be able to use data very well to your advantage. And the starting point, I always tell people, start with Excel, right? It'll make your life a whole lot easier. Be able to manipulate your Excel. Even you don't have to be a genius. There are a ton of, and then transition school has those courses as well. You need to be able to, handle data so that you need to be able to add value to be able to transition into something else, right? So, so start with that. Be able to handle Excel. You can, pull it up a notch by going into trying to use Power BI and SQL. What that would do for you is when you're applying for roles and then you put all those skills on your profile and they know, okay, so what can you do with SQL? What can you do with Power BI? You're saying you can pull data and find out the reason for the reason why customers why service has dropped or why deliveries have dropped, because you have that data and then you're able to use that data to clean and then analyze that information in front of you, right? Project managers like myself, where I fall into, so something has to be delivered, right? And the project management field or section or sector will be able to say, we want to move it from point A and to point B, and then we want to be able to break it down, whether we want to use Agile or the waterfall model or both, right? To be able to break it down from point A to point B. And your project management will be able to do that. And interestingly, right, the project management field, ever since time immemorial, I remember when I finished my MBA in Edinburgh, and the first set of jobs you would do and you would see out there is the project management and business analysis, right? It's still in the UK till now, and it will continue to be because of the way the UK economy is structured and the UK work is structured, right? A lot of projects are being carried out, so those jobs will continue to show and will continue to take place. Network and telecommunication, these are usually these people usually go unnoticed. And interestingly, I was looking at the data for the average pay for network engineers, and it's a lot, especially if you have some cloud experience, right? You see figures around 45 to 50, 60. I know when you get to a certain amount, the higher you go, the more your taxes is. But there's a lot of work, and then there's a lot of value that they create, and there's a lot of money in that sector as well. So digging into the deep of it, there's a big cultural difference between wherever you're coming from and applications in the UK, right? I remember the first time I submitted my CV, and I submitted my CVs a lot. I'm sure some of us are going through the same thing when I finished my MBA. And I would just send my CV for any job that I felt I could do, from customer service, because I just wanted to get something, so that I won't be kicked out, and then that your rent is monthly, so you have to pay it as when due. So I would just submit it because I was coming with the Nigerian mindset that one CV is enough for all of that. But when you get to the UK, that is totally different, right? You need to be able to focus on what you've done and then your technical skills, right? Some countries like Nigeria, they like to see stories. Some countries like maybe some parts of Europe like to see some sort of narrative. But the UK says, look, what can you do? What have you done? What technical skills do you have? What experience do you have? What projects have you worked on, right? So conciseness is key, right? Aim for 2 pages at most. Happy to have conversations around this and focus on impactful achievements and relevant skills. So put on stuff that you've done, projects that you've worked on, how you. I was looking at someone's CV a few days ago. It's a project manager at Barclays, and I was like, wow, this is great. So you could see action points, you could see action verbs. We did this project and it delivered 9 million in value, or it cuts down 10% in deficiencies. You need to be able to put figures in your document so that they know that you're not just writing story, but they want to see something that you've done, right? Technical skills take center stage. For you, if you want to go into programming, right, or if you're a web developer, put your languages, right? The tools, your framework, your React, your Vue, your PHP. I hear PHP is a dying breed, Yomi. I don't know if that's correct. Sorry. Then quantify it, right? Bug fixes, project complexity, how you.
Sorry if I may cut you. PHP is not dying. Actually, it's very much alive.
I was having a conversation recently, and unfortunately, a lot of people have been having conversations. Everybody's .NET, Java, and I'm like, so what's happening to PHP? What has happened? Well, hopefully it won't die. It won't die totally. I know a lot of applications are still being built on PHP. Right. So quantify your technical achievements with metrics. Make sure that you spell them out, and they are not just saying I fixed a bug. You can say find a way to describe it. I fixed a bug that was delaying us going to production and us achieving a certain milestone for revenue and all of that. Be specific, and then be able to quantify it, right? Use action verbs, right? Developed, implement, optimize, analyzed, and all of that. Education usually takes a backseat in the UK, to be honest. I have a friend who is he's a project manager at what's this place called again? Tesco Bank. Excuse me. Right, and he doesn't have a BSc degree, and it's quite interesting. But what does he have? He has a ton of experience, and he was recruited from Nigeria. Massive ton of experience. He's done his PMP, he's done his Prince 2, but his projects, speak for themselves, right? And and that's the interesting thing about the UK. They just want to know that you can do the work, right? I know PhD guys who are doing customer service job. I mean, I'm doing a doctorate as well. No shots fired on PhD holders, but they just want to know, if you can do a job, So examples, instead of developing a mobile app during my university project, you can try, lead development of a mobile app used by 100,000 users using agile methodologies and optimizing performance by 20%, right? So this way, they know what it is that you've done. They know the effect that what you've done has had on the company, right? And then the performance that as well. So when you're having this conversation and they ask you to speak about it, right, you can then start to break it down. Say, okay, this is what happened. This was how we, and when you get into an interview, you can say this was what happened. This was the idea behind the project or the mobile app. How you got 10,000 users, how you used Agile and the software development lifecycle to deliver, those projects, and then over, optimizing performance after a few times by 20%. That way they know that you know what it is that you're talking about, and they are not just, winging it or just pulling words out of the air to understand so that you can get the job. So according to Tech Nation, right, the following skills are currently in high demand. Cloud computing. Everything is pretty much going into the cloud now. So your Azure is Microsoft, your AWS, which is Amazon Web Service, and then your GCP, which is Google. Yeah, those are the three sought after tools and technologies for cloud computing. For the UK, I know there's a lot of AWS and Azure. Both of them are really fighting for the market. GCP, Google takes the backseat, but so is between AWS and Azure. In Nigeria is mostly AWS, but Microsoft has gradually taken over that market as well. CyberSec, and another interesting field. The interesting part about CyberSec is there's a lot that you can do around it. So you can do governance reporting and compliance, which is really big now, especially in the UK and then with GDPR. So there's a lot to do, and then there's a lot to make sure that the applications and the UK government is pretty much the highest employer when it comes to CyberSec and GRC. So then there's penetration testing, ethical hacking, threat intelligence are essential skills. AI intelligence. I know someone is going to be talking about artificial intelligence. Sorry, we're going to be speaking about AI later. Machine learning, deep learning, NLPs. Gradually, I mean your ChatGPT and your BARD, your Bing AI, pretty much deep learning and machine learning, pretty much AIs, right? So those skills, as you there was the job ad I saw on LinkedIn. I think it was earlier this year or late last year, and it was around someone being able to use prompts for a job, and the money they were quoting was really crazy. I was like, really? Are you sure I won't stop my project management job and go and start learning how to do prompts for AIs? But yeah, so that field is really picking up as well. Full stack development. Yomi is your plug for this, and so is Transition School. Different languages, JavaScript, React, your Node, your Python, your .NET, your Vue, your Nox and your Next, your Java, so your Node.js and all of that stuff. Just decide and say, look, out of all of this, which ones am I comfortable with? Which ones would I be able to function around, and start digging deep into that. Your data science, the data analysis. Amina spoke about Excel and Tableau or Power BI, data visualization. Highly sought after skills. Product management, you need to be able to do market research. You need to be able to do competitive analysis, be able to do a roadmap to say, how do we start a product, and then how do we get to $1 million in revenue? How do we become a unicorn 2-3 years down the line, right? So the product design, Figma, your Sketch, your Adobe XD, your user research, your testing methodologies, your wireframing, your prototyping, your low fidelity mockups and high fidelity mockups, and all of those. You need to be able to say, okay, look, I'm taking this part and then I'm learning all of these skills, as I go along. Your business analyst, be able to do process modeling, which is very key. Your project manager's side, for project management, I usually advise people to know both, right? So both agile and waterfall. Your PM in the UK is Prince 2, and Europe mostly Prince 2 as well. And when you go to North America, to the US, Canada, you'd have PMI and PMP. Network and telecom engineers, automation tools, your network security, being able to understand how to properly secure your network so that you don't get intrusions along the line. Tailoring your application, right? You need to be able to say, look, this is. I know a lot of us job applications can be daunting, right? You sometimes you see like. I remember I was trying to apply for a job a while back, and I had to fill like 6 pages of application. I'm wondering why is life this hard, right? And it can be daunting, but each job ad and company is unique, right? So you need to take your time to take a look at those job postings and say, okay, look, what do I need? Am I qualified? Can I tailor my CV to this? Can I, is this job for me? Can I apply? Don't just apply for the sake of applying sake, but you need to be able to know how to tailor your activities and tailor your skills and your experience to that particular job that you want to, apply for. Don't underestimate the value of your tech skills and experience from your home country, right? When I first before I went for my MBA, I was doing a lot of market research and a lot of strategic planning as well. And when I got to the UK, it felt strange because what I could use or what I knew about market research was different. But what worked for me was what I did was I had a mentor who was a professor at the time, and he said, look, this is what you should do. Find out what the company wants to do and do some information, right? So what I did was, I remember my first interview. It was at it was a new startup, and they were trying to do some e-commerce stuff. And what I did was I did some research, and I found out what they were doing wrongly, and I made a proposition on what they wanted to do. Unfortunately, I got the job, but they couldn't offer me. They were only going to offer me an internship because of they didn't have enough funding at that time, right? So, put all of that into context when you're trying to apply your problem solving skills, your user centric approach, and then sprinkle relevant keywords from your job description on your CV and cover letter, from achieved this to implemented this. Go to the job description and put those keywords that you find into your cover letter if they ask you for a cover letter. I'm not a fan of cover letters, but guys, if they ask you for a cover letter, please just do it, right? It would help your case when you're doing an application. When you're doing let me just quickly trade this in, right? I think I've gotten a few job interviews off LinkedIn, right? And while one was just me just fooling around, the other two were people reaching out, right? And there was a time that I was actively searching, and a friend reached out to me and said, why not just reach out? So what I saw, he was doing something, he was trying to apply for a job. And instead of him hitting the easy apply button on LinkedIn, so what he did was he found the person that posted the job, right? Did a connect, and then he put some sort of information, about himself, just a brief introduction. The person accepted after like a day. Then they became friends, and then you can send messages, right? So he just drafted a nice email, and then sends it in, right? Easy apply can be like a lazy way of applying. Most often than not, you won't get feedback, right? But if you go and hit that person that posted that job, right? Just say, hey, I just saw the job posting. Do you mind us having a conversation? Share your CV. I would like to share my CV. If your CV is hosted somewhere or your profile is hosted somewhere, just put your link in it, and then just reach out to the person, right? For CV structure, yes, and contact details, obviously, so that they can, hit you up, your summary, your skills, experience, your work details, your professional summary, your technical skills, right? your relevant work experience. Always start with the most recent one. Don't put the most recent one at the bottom so that they can see what you've done. Keep it clean and excuse me, and easy to read. Don't format it properly, right? I know the transition school offers an optimization service for CVs, right? And you don't necessarily have to go to transition school so that it will be like, but yes, if you have to pay for a CV revamp or a CV, optimization, please do. It would help your case, a lot, because your CV is your first foot into the room, right? Irrespective of what you have to say, right? If your CV gets you into the room, you've done like 30 to 40% of the job. The other part of the job is left to how you communicate and how you impress the interviewers before, and then them giving you a job at the end of the day, right? LinkedIn is a gold mine. I know there's a lot of noise around it, but LinkedIn is a gold mine. If you go to your search button and type hiring software developer, you see a bunch of results. If you go to your hiring project manager, you see a ton of results, right? So what you want to do is be able to skip out the noise on LinkedIn, and then you'll be surprised. As my recent job, I got it off LinkedIn, and so you hear a lot of similar stories as well. There's a lot of job boards, CW jobs, total jobs, a ton of them. Be able to sieve out all the noise, and then you'll be home and dry. Your headline, make sure your LinkedIn is properly optimized. So if you're a data analyst trying to get into that space, post your dashboards on LinkedIn and then make a few comments. Ask people to criticize you, or people in the industry that and not just LinkedIn as well. Do it on X, right? So I don't say Twitter, on X. I know a lady that used to do Power Platform. She just kept posting her jobs, her work, her dashboards, her stuff, her automations, and she got a job in Malta. She's in Malta at the moment, and she just even became an MVP. Why? Because she kept on, posting those things, and just showcase your skills, right? You never know who is. Not just don't just type it, right? And then the algorithm favors stuff when you put images and videos of stuff, on LinkedIn. Connect strategically, right? What that means is, if you see people in the data, if you're trying to get into data analysis, if you see people in the data analysis field, just reach out, just connect. People are gracious enough to reach out to you, and then to accept your networking information, your connection request. You just have to keep putting yourself out there. You get a lot of no's, right? But it's usually just one yes that changes the story at the end of the day. I remember a mentee that was she's in Canada at the moment, studying for her MSc, and in data analytics, right? I just said, look, just keep sending out your dashboards, just keep doing that, right? And she sent out to a bunch of people, and in the mornings she would just get no, and I think employers have a way of just sending you notes first thing in the morning or late at night, and she got a lot of notes. But there was one particular one that didn't come into her inbox, and then it went into her spam, and she just said, well, let me just even check my spam today. And then she checked it, and she saw that they were asking her to send her updated portfolio. She did, and she got she's doing IMAC at the same time. She's gotten some sort of remote internship work, and that's being able to pay the bills to a very large extent. So you need to continue to put yourself out there. Don't just say, I've submitted my application. Even if you submit your application, or even if you do an interview, you can do a follow-up email to say, hi, Demi, I've just submitted, or thanks for the time today. It was good connecting with the team. Please, if you do have any information or any questions you would like to ask me, more than happy to learn about it, and also learn about the next few stages, right? Research the company that you want to apply to, and good luck, guys. Thanks, Demi. I think that's me.
All right, thank you so much, Ife, for that insightful session. Let's give him a round of applause. So I don't know if anyone has any question, or if you can just drop it in the chat box below. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ife. And well, in the absence of no, we'll be moving on to a very short break. So we'll be having a break for just about 3, 4, 5 minutes. You can stand up, stretch your legs. Please don't log out from this summit. You can just stand up, stretch your legs, drink water, and we'll continue in the next 3 minutes. Thank you. So as well, if you can check through the comment section, if there was anyone that asked any question, you can just respond to them there.
Yeah, sure. That's
Alright. Or if you would like to, I think you can stop sharing your screen so that you can check through the questions. And if you would like
yes.
to take anyone in the meantime, while people are also taking a break simultaneously.
OT, what's the question? Rafi, I said, sorry, it's risk. So it's governance, risk, and management and compliance. OT's question is, how do I volunteer in projects we use data in Excel and Power BI for the start running completion of projects? So, I mean, what would help is there are a lot of times that you see a lot of volunteering options on platforms. So if you join communities, there are a few that I used to be part of on Telegram, this transition school. I mean, join as many as you want. You see people. Yes, Jayeoba with the PHP. So you see a lot of people asking for volunteers. That what you can also do is so I'm just getting lost in the questions. The easiest market entries between JavaScript and PHP, yes. Thanks, Yomi. Is a Facebook, Wikipedia, Slack, yes, PHP. Rafi, Risk, Silas, product management. Product management is a great, usually a great starting point for a lot of people. And I mean, you just need to be able to, I mean, take a few courses, understand what really product is, the difference between product and project management. Product is your, say, your CUDA, your Monza, your send up by Flutterwave, and the project management is what happens at the back end, being able to deliver all of that, right? So, yes. I mean, you'll be surprised, Mesha, you'll be surprised about the amount of opportunities that are out there. Especially, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. Yomi, please correct me if I'm wrong, right? There's a lot of opportunities when it comes to WordPress, right? It's huge. It's very, very huge. I was speaking to the MD of what's it called, TechPoint Africa, Miwa, and you were discussing about WordPress. It's a lot of people, just don't take a look at it, but it's a big field. I mean, you can start from there. I know WordPress can be tricky, but it's Webflow. Yes, a lot of things are being done using Webflow now. I think you just need to get better at what it is that you're doing, and then put yourself out there on projects that you've done, and you're good. Yeah, I mean, yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So I'll mention briefly about WordPress and as well like Webflow. So my first big gig, like first big contract, was actually in WordPress, and I still manage that project till date. Right. So the platform does not matter. The most important itself is your packaging, right? And like you mentioned about Miwa, I still had like a very light chat with him on Twitter, and they make use of WordPress for their platform. Most major corporations, even UBA, as big as UBA is, Here's Holdings and all those top companies, they make use of WordPress, and you can imagine how much people are charging, to manage their website. So that's that. Then for Webflow, you're a Webflow developer, you can create templates and sell,
Yeah.
right? you can imagine, like, if let's say 100 people all over the world, out of the entire people using Webflow all over the world, buy your templates, just 100 templates, maybe you're selling for $40. You can imagine how much you've made. So the opportunities are much. It's just think about different channels, and as well have conversations like this with people, because they'll open your mind to opportunities. So that's it.
Chima, I think Yomi should be able to help you with this. So Yomi,
Okay, Chima, just send a mail to support@transitions.co.uk. We'll connect you with Amina. Amina is heavy on people getting settled. Then we can have a conversation. Just detail your need around settlement. They will most likely connect you to Amina.
I think that's it. No more questions. Someone's asking for my profile link. Okay. Okay, so I've just dropped that. Great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Yomi, for being here on a Saturday afternoon. Let me sound like Amina on the Saturday afternoon. Thanks, Demi.
All right, thank you very much, Ife. So I think everyone should have gotten a very short break in between all of this, and we'll be moving on to our next session. So next up we'll be having David Jayeoba, and he'll be talking to us about AI and the future of recruitment in the UK job market. So David is an innovative and accomplished data scientist, and currently his professional trajectory includes pivotal roles in data ethic analysis at the Admiral Group, and where he diligently ensured all the ethical applications of AI and data models. And with David's ability to transform complex data into actionable insights, coupled with his dedication to responsible AI, positions him as a trailblazer in the field of data science. So let's just give a round of applause and welcome David as he talks to us about AI and the future of recruitment in the UK job market. The floor is yours, David.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to just share my screen. Just a minute, trying to share my screen now. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thank you for that introduction. My name is David Jayeoba, and I'm the data ethics or AI ethics analyst at Admiral, and I work with a lot of data scientists, and I'm a data scientist as well. So a quick background about myself. I have a background in statistics and a master's degree in data science. Just combine both of them together. They all work hand in hand. And moving forward, today we'll be talking about AI and the future of recruitment in the UK. So, like most of us here are in the UK, I can, from past statements and the chats, I can see that many of us are from the UK, are in the UK now. Just a quick one. I like to start presentations with the basics, which is what is data. So just a quick one. Data is simply defined as raw facts. That's how I define it. So moving to the next slide, sorry. Does anybody know what this is? If you have an idea what this is? Anyone? Okay. I think no one does.
Someone said a Walkman, a music player,
Okay.
MP3 player.
Okay. Okay. Everyone is okay. The AI automation too. Okay. Yeah, everyone is correct in some way, but this is a very brand new technology, and it's called Rabbit R1. It was released this year, January, and what it does is just basically Siri and Amazon people on steroids. So it's you can literally just it has a camera. You can literally just show and ask it literally what is this, and it will tell you everything and of some sort. So it's more interactive. So it's bridging the gap between a mobile phone and a personal this computer speech thing. So sorry. So what this does is what they intended, because first 10,000 has been fully booked, and then there's another one which was supposed to be released in March, which is already fully booked already. What it's supposed to do is it can connect with any device, your phones and everything, and it will be able to interact with them and the surroundings, learn. So you can literally teach it new things. Probably you want it to respond to you in your language. So yes, it can do that as well. So we're still going somewhere with this. So first question is data science declining? I would like us to have this question on our left hand, and we will answer, probably find the answer at the remaining part of the presentation. So today we'll be talking about briefly the top data jobs, most in-demand data jobs, data skills, why the data jobs are increasing, and the future of data in the UK, where to go from here as well, and probably question and answers. So why data jobs roles are important in the current economic landscape? We know that data is increasingly important and is increasingly growing every day, every single minute and second. So it helps us make some decisions and make data-driven decisions, which is said to be more accurate and more precise, automate things. And you can just sit down in your house and robots are busy doing things for you that you would have taken time, so it saves time. And that's why we need data in this present economy and this landscape. So we're building something. What is the top imagined job in the UK? Can anybody guess? The top imagined job in the UK currently? Anybody? Oh, prompt engineering. Okay. Software engineering. Okay. AI engineering. Okay, I think I should have made it in the data field. Data analyst. Yeah, these are interesting points, but I'm not going to answer that question yet. Okay. Machine learning engineering. Interesting responses, but we will get the response soon. Most factors, a lot of people say these are the top 5 jobs in the UK, according to LinkedIn and Indeed and so many other things that I have cross-checked. Data engineering, data analysts, data scientists, and data architects. But I'm sure a lot of us will have been wondering why number 7 is circled in blue down at the bottom. Can someone guess why there's 7 on the screen? Seven more slides. Oh, well, so according to LinkedIn's research, the reports that LinkedIn released for 2023, data science is the 7th most emerging job in the UK. So that's according to LinkedIn. It said data science jobs is the 7th most emerging job in the UK. We are going somewhere with that. Now, skills. This is a very interesting part for me because a lot of us, I don't know how many data scientists are here or data people here, but a lot of us do think that to be a data person or a machine learning expert, all you need is programming language, statistics, machine learning skills, and that's all. But yes, in my line of work, I've been able to work with over 150 data scientists so far, currently, and that's both in the UK and in the EU, because I'm on the group level of my current company. So, but there's always a difference when a very good data scientist, because I'm also a data scientist, so I know who is good and in what they do. Very innovative data scientist gets their work thrown out, literally thrown out. And that's because the real people approving your solutions do not understand 1% of whatever you'll be saying. And that's why reports writing is very important. When you start saying, oh, machine learning, so we used XGBoost, literally they don't care. Use Cutlass and Ho, they don't care. But what they need is to be able to understand how it's going to give them money, how they will increase their money. How is it going to be beneficial to the company? What's the impact to the company? How much are they going to lose? So report writing is a skill a lot of data scientists do not have, and that gets their work thrown out. Sorry. Yeah, so every other skills are important. Like from here, you see, number 1, I said statistics, yes, because everything, anything data usually is built from statistics. And going, and then we entered a place where I said artificial intelligence, machine learning, data mining skills. So this is cut across different jobs or different careers in data. So, and I put programming language. Now, a lot of us will be thinking, oh, what do I mean by programming language? Yes, it's not just Python and R. And I'm not going to just write Python and R here, because I've seen interviews where, as a data scientist, you are required to know JavaScript, yes, HTML, and not just Python and R. So, moving on. Now, jobs in the UK. What areas recruit most in the UK for a data thing? So I've tried to arrange it in ascending order. That's in the aspect of more recruitment going on. So from my research, I found out that financial industries like Barclays, Lloyds, KPMG, Experian, and other top financial companies require more data scientists or analysts. So because they are heavy on data, and now it's part of the UK, FCA thing that, they want to know impact on customers and all. So yeah, at the moment, financial company recruits the most in the UK, followed by then technology companies, which includes Google and the likes, and yeah, which includes other innovative companies as well. That's what I put in the information technology. Then we have healthcare, NHS. Yes, NHS recruit a lot of data analysts, And if you check, just to check, I went to the NHS, I think it's digital NHS, to check, and I saw a lot of data analysts in different kinds. Retail, Amazon, Apple, yeah. Media as well, Netflix, Sky, BT. Then energy. Now I put energy last, although energy also recruits very well in the UK, but I put them last because they require extra skill, which is forecasting. That means you have to be a very good expert for some of them, most of them actually, you have to be very good expert in time series analysis. So there's one thing to note here. Okay, not here. Next slide. So what are my chances of being employed? Now it's getting harder than ever to hire a data scientist. And the reason why is because a lot of people are switching, from different backgrounds. So it's difficult to actually be able to know people that are capable of doing things. Let's say, for instance, someone in graphics design switch to become a data scientist, and your company is an economics-based company, and then we need your CV. ATS will flag your CV as no. So, and that's a challenge that we face now. Another one is the hype. Data is the new oil in the past, so everyone is rushing the 6-figure salary. Everyone is rushing. So now, if you put a job advert like we did quite recently in my company, about just 24 hours, we had hundreds. Trust me, a very, very huge amount of application that physically we cannot do. So obviously it has to be software that we filter them out. So experience. Now, I don't know if everyone will agree with me, but from my own personal research, apart from graduate roles, junior data science roles, people with 1 year or less experience, it's very rare to get those jobs, not so much. So a lot of companies these days require people to have at least 3 years experience, at least 3 years to be in a mid-level role as a data scientist. So that's a challenge for people growing. That is why you need the transition school to help with that. So how do we stand out and get employed? You have to utilize LinkedIn, build your portfolio. So I'm not going to say much about this because the previous speaker has given everything. Yeah, prepare for interviews is what I'm going to actually focus on. So recently, part of the recruitment we did very recently, last year, December. I was privileged to be one of the interviewers, and little questions as much as what do the company do can make you not be selected. So this person is a very good, very top I think, 10 years experience in the field, and very learned, knows what he's saying, good ideas as well. But question like, what do we do? What does Admiral do? And he said something, he said, yes, insurance. I said, what's insurance? And he said health, which was really off point. And trust me, he was not selected. So it's not just about skills now. You have to sit, prepare for interviews, and then update your resume, which also traditional school will also help with that. Salaries is very interesting part. I know some of us were thinking I was going to talk about that. Yeah. There's nothing much to talk about other than to disappoint a lot of us here that the UK doesn't pay as much as we may think. So this is the 2022 data. So as at 2022, it's £33,000 per year, averagely, and mid-level data scientist is 47 averagely. Senior 64.5 averagely, and then 65K for lead data scientist averagely. So I know this is kind of not what, obviously, if you have been listening to a lot of or reading so many things, you think you can become a billionaire straight away being a data scientist, but unfortunately, this is the real thing. I'm not going to talk too much on salaries. Now, the future. Data ethics. I'm sure a lot of us have been wanting to ask what data ethics is from the beginning. And I'm just going to talk about it just a little bit. So we know that AI, machine learning, AI, and everything relating to data have two ways. Either it can be used for good or used for bad. So it is usually not the intention of whoever builds a solution to aim for the bad, usually. But it can always be used for the bad, which is why the data ethics comes in and why I classify it as the future. So things like ChatGPT, bad, and so many other things. If we remember, before the ChatGPT, there was one previously that was heavily racist. I know I'm not going to go towards that direction as well, but it was only brought up, I think, less than a week or a day before it got closed, shut down. And then, I think in 2015, I would check around that, but it got shut down, and then several others came up, and then got shut down again. Then ChatGPT came up again and seemed to be quite stable. So generally, what data ethics is all about is in the growing field of AI, in the growing field of data and data science and machine learning, we need someone to sit down and check how this model will impact the people, the customers, and the general public that do not even understand what is going on. How is this model going to impact? How are we going to, also, well, it's very broad. Data ethics is very broad. So we talk about fairness, we talk about transparency. Is the solution even needed at this time? Accountability. Now, what are we using the data for? Will a customer trust us enough that and be told, okay, whatever these people are using my data for, it's not going to be used against me? So that's what data ethics is all about. And it also goes deeper into AI building, how much energy is being consumed, in the world and sustainable AI and things like that. It's also part of data ethics. Moving forward, remember I said something about number 7. So this was cropped from the report. Now I'm just going to be talking about the data parts of this. So the first part is the data artificial intelligence specialist, which is an area that is emerging in the UK right now. So people doing large LLM, large level language model, people LAM, large action models. If you have specializations in that, so it's predicted to be the emerging thing right now in the UK. You are really hot cake if you have that skill. And also NLP is becoming a very big deal now again. There's always been a big deal anyway. Open AI, well, that's by the way. So if you're open CV, if you have skills in computer vision, yeah, that's also a big deal. So things that have to do with AI, top notch, you are good to go. Data protection officer, yes. Now this part, you can smuggle in data ethics here because you'll work alongside with them here. Then number 7, data scientists. So now, does it mean data analysts, data architects, data engineers are not? They are, especially data engineering. Data engineering jobs are springing up these days very, very fast, and the job adverts are disappearing very fast because a lot of people are applying and getting the jobs. So if you have data engineering skills as well, just brush up your CV, prepare for interviews, and trust me, a lot of companies need data engineering. And I feel like data engineering is a very solid field or area as well, just as strong as data science as well. So I think this is the last slide. Thank you. Does anybody have any question?
All right, thank you so much, David. Let's give him a round of applause. So, does anyone have any questions? Someone is asking, please, more information about the customer service specialist. If you can just briefly talk about that because we have time has actually gone. I think you should just answer this question and any other question he would respond to you in the chat box below.
Customer service specialist, I'm sure you saw that on, where did you see that? Sorry, I didn't talk about customer service specialist.
Sunday, I don't think he mentioned that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Okay, customer success.
Success specialist.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, this, like I said, it's mixed. Not every one of them has to do with data. So yeah, that's why I skipped robotics, engineering, and so many other ones as well. Some of them are very engineering and more technical. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much, David, for this insightful session. We'll be going on to a panel session very soon. But in the meantime, would really love for you to fill this feedback form. I'll be dropping it in the chat box below. So it just helps us know how, if you're enjoying this session so far, how we can improve our services and how we can serve you better as well. So you can just click on the link. I've dropped the link in the comment section below now, and you can just click the link. It's a very short form, very, very short form, I promise you. And you can just let us know what you think so far of this summit. All right, so we'll be starting the panel session just about now. And for the panel session, we'll be having 3 people. That's Yomi, Omotoso, Amina, Akugri, and Abiola Oladokun. So we have some questions. So if you also, this panel session is also open. So if you have any questions in general, just about navigating the UK tech career landscape, you can drop the questions in the chat box as well. But we also have some questions that we have prepared just in case there are any doubts in anyone's mind. So I think we should start now. Amina and Yomi and Abiola, are we all here? Are we ready? Yes.
I'm
All
good.
right.
I'm as well ready.
All right.
Okay.
So
I can't see Abiola yet, though.
Abdullah is here.
yeah,
Oh,
he
right.
is
Okay. Okay.
here.
All right. Yeah. I think a quick introduction of Abiola will be good because I don't think we've introduced him yet, so people will just have an idea as to who he is.
Yes, definitely, most definitely. All right.
Am I
Do you
to
have
introduce
that?
myself?
No.
No, I
David, do you
think I
have
would.
that?
Yes. Good. Yeah. So
Okay.
yes, Abiola has worked as an IT project manager, a data analyst, and a business analyst, and he has also worked in the oil and gas industry, e-commerce, and telecommunications. As you can see, he's an all-rounder and he has experience in quite a number of fields. So he will be talking to everyone in this panel session as well. So I think we can dive into the panel session. And I think the first question I would like to ask all three of you, um, maybe not everyone, whoever would prefer to answer the question, is what advice do you have for individuals looking to start or transition into the tech career in UK? As a newbie, as a beginner, what advice would you have for anyone here that is just trying to start out in the tech career? Who would like to give insights?
Maybe I'll leave that to Abiola. I've quite had a number of talks.
Yeah, okay.
I
Abela, would
still have
you?
some talks.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, everyone. I am Abiola, as they said. I think I actually had this discussion with Yomi earlier. And first things first, for newbies, you actually need to understand that transitioning doesn't mean you just jump in careers. You can't just jump ship. The questions I ask my mentees or anybody coming to me, oh, they want to learn this, they want to move. I ask, where are you coming from? What's the foundation? You cannot tell me you are a graphic designer, you want to start doing project management or data analytics. Why? Why are you moving? And note again, another thing is the roles we have now, tech generally, I agree, but I still disagree in some point or at a point because most of the roles are applied roles now. In data analytics, you go to finance, they tell you they need a finance data analyst, they need a finance data interpreter, they need a finance data that. Then you go to aside software development, where it is called software development. Every other roles are applied. So you might not need to move away from what you've learned. You can actually build on what you've learned as a foundation for you, then choose any other roles to add to it. You're coming from health. You can do project management in health. So why not do project management? Why do you have to go leave health and go and do software development? You want to be like Yomi? It doesn't work that way. I have been in tech for 17 years. I've transitioned from one step to another, all the way from hardware to where I am today. And at the point I did engineering, the first multi-million naira gig I did with NNPC was in software engineering, but I was a petroleum engineer. I actually applied my software development skills to the engineering I learned in school. So for newbies, you actually need to relax. Don't read information you get on the internet. Like the other speaker, I think David said, it's not about the salary. When you are jumping for salary, you might miss it. You just keep learning, keep going to different boot camps, keep going to the internet to learn some vague informations. or courses. At the end, you might not know what to do with them. Reach out to people like Amina, like Yomi, like David, people that are in the industries, people that will actually direct you. Let them hear you out, then direct you. Okay, this is what you know, this is where you're going to, this is what you can do. So that is my advice for you. In UK, it is far away from you just going to boot camps or you doing certifications. If I'm going to employ you, if you like, I have all the certification, Prince 2, Agile, whatever. By the time I ask you a question and you don't know it, then I won't employ you. Nobody does that. You can pass the ATS. The ATS system is just for you to just, your CV will pass. Yes, your mate can manipulate your CV. If you pass the ATS, I'm very sure, but it will not help you in the interview. So what are you going to do at that point? So you actually have to know what you're doing. It is not magic, but at the same time, it is also sweet. The money is there, but you actually have to know what you're doing. Don't struggle. Don't push yourself to struggle. One of my mentees that got there with Amazon, he did engineering, and I said, you want to do engineering, but Amazon doesn't really do any engineering roles until one of their warehouses opened in was it Colorado, and they needed a project manager with an engineering background. And I told him, yeah, let's apply, let's see. And he did. By the time he got to the interview, he was afraid. He doesn't know what to do because I only taught him for I think 2 months, and I told him, okay, don't worry. I will ask you some questions. Don't cram it. Just let me look at the thought process and all that. By the time he got to the interview, they asked the exact questions, 3 of them. When he came back to me, he said, how did I know? I said, I've been in this game. I'm looking at your thought process now. I don't care that you've learned from anywhere. So most of these employers know that, especially in UK now, they don't look at your CV, they bounce it out. We know this guy has gone to transition school to go and learn something, but doesn't really know. And so for newbies, like I have said, you have to calm down, reach out to people, let them direct you. Then when you have been directed, learn. Most important, learn. Don't just go and be getting too many vague courses. Learn, know these things. When you know the course, when you know the career you are, it's going to be easier for you to transit. And one thing about tech is, or applied tech rule is that once you get a job, it's done. You can keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Abiola. I think he has covered almost everything because I saw Amina and Yomi just nodding their heads. Yes. So we'll go to the next question, and please let's just try to keep our responses quite brief because of time. I think aside from all these technical skills that Abiola has mentioned, yes, in the process of you transitioning, just take a little skill with what you're already doing. What soft skills would you say are crucial for success in the UK tech industry? What's something that might not be as big as you learning product design or learning data science or data analysis, but is something that is quite important in if you're trying to get a
I
job?
think that for me, I would say, which, and I'm sure that Abiola will probably agree. Number one is communication. I can't emphasize how much that is such a big deal, but people sometimes overlook it. Your ability to be able to communicate with your team members, your managers, and stakeholders is very important. And communication is not just about talk, 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 talk. It's about you being able to like also listen and understand what is being said. And then when you are patient enough to listen and understand what is being said, you then can also provide a response or understand what is. So communication and understanding goes together. So it's not just about putting it on your CV to say, oh, effective communicator, and then you go into the interview and they're asking you questions and you're like, you probably didn't listen, so you can't really tell them what they need to know. Problem solving, very important. It's so easy again for people to say, oh, I'm a problem solver, you know, most organizations and the roles that you'll be doing, you'll be solving problems. It's not written out in broad daylight that you are a problem solver, but the job you do every day, you are solving problems. Even as a student, you solve problems. You probably are supposed to be going to lectures, or you even are going out to go and buy food, and it starts raining, right? A typical example, it starts raining. What do? You have to make a decision at that point in time. What the decision you are making is going to affect whether you'll be able to get food or not. So how are you tackling that issue? So when you think about problem solving, don't go too far. Every day of your life, you might be solving one problem and tackling one thing or the other. You have an interview, NEPA has taken light, right? Before NEPA takes light, what would you do to prevent that from happening to you in the middle of the interview? So, and then your ability to adapt and learn. You're in a new environment. What do they do differently here? What do they do here that is different from what you are used to? How willing are you to want to learn and adapt to what is being done? Because at the end of the day, you as an individual, if you're able to learn and adapt, it sets you in a long place to go to. It means that, like, anything that is thrown at you, you can resist it, you can take it. Because sometimes things change, different organized, like COVID, for instance. When COVID happened, no one knew about COVID. It just happened, and then everyone had to adapt. So if you're that person that doesn't know how to adapt, and then things are changing, you just stay there. So you have to learn and be willing to open to when things change and how you have to adapt. And then last for me is team collaboration. I get that everyone wants to show that they are doing well and they are doing good, but sometimes, believe me not, you showing how good you are as a team member and a team player actually shows how excellent you are on a team. So identifying that this person on this team has a weakness in this area. So make yourself available for people to be able to come to you, want to talk to you, want to ask you questions, because behind you, they'll be talking to other people on the team and senior managers and saying that this person helped me with this. So these are some of the things in your everyday life now. Learn how to do it. So it's easier, right? Even if you go into an interview, from the way you would speak, they would know that this person has this. And then when you are in a team and you are willing to show that UK is very big on team collaboration. And I'm sure the other panelists would agree, as well as Yomi. If you're on a team and you don't like to collaborate, problem, right? And confidence, how do you build that? Because if you are someone who isn't confident, right, it shows in everything that you do. And it's a skill that you learn over time if you are willing to put yourself out there and if you want to embrace it. So that's it for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Amina. I think she has said quite a lot. Yomi, I don't know if you want to add anything. Well, I think she has said quite a lot. But I think the next question, maybe you're not adding anything.
She has said exactly what it is.
All right, awesome. So this is going to be the last question just because of time, and I think Yomi should take that since everyone else has said one or two things about every other thing. And I would just ask, what advice would you give to people that have finished learning? So we've all emphasized you learning after you finish learning like a product management skill. Maybe you have worked on your confidence levels, you have worked on some of your soft skills and all of that. What what's next? What next should they do to be able to get a job? Should they just go straight to LinkedIn and start searching? What exactly should they do? Please let us know.
Okay. First, right, stay in the network of professionals. It's easier for you to become when you're in the midst of those that are, right. So if you're able to leverage that network, that is one thing. Then the second, I think, my advice itself is try as much as possible to let your work speak for you. The UK environment is so peculiar that they are not interested in how much years of experience you've gathered. They are not interested in how much what's it called, certificates or boot camps. Like I think, like Abiola said, you need to actually like build projects, work on stuff, and not just stuff, but let your work speak for you. Be public about what you do, right? You don't have to be a web developer to. I always say this thing: have a portfolio, right? So it's very important, because when you let your work speak for you, even if you don't know much, people assume you know, right? And people will come to you and like tell you, mentor me, but you yourself, you know that, hey, okay, I'm still working on this. I was reading a book lately, and they talked about like and which I also speak with my team, right? The 80-20 rule, right? 20% of people actually accomplish the most of how do I put it now? Basically, this is it, right? If you have a circle of 10 people, right, only 20% of them would actually be on the topmost, achieving what 80% would have probably achieved, right? So if you're able to position yourself to that 20%, so like amongst the rich people in the world, you obviously be hearing of the likes of Bill Gates, you've been hearing of the likes of Elon Musk, but that doesn't mean there are no other rich persons. But they've been able to put themselves out there. They've been able to let their work speak for them and the like. So people will naturally attract to those that are really out there. So don't keep it within yourself. And lastly, like, publish your stuff. As I said earlier, publish. Keep working on stuff. Keep being in the midst of people, and let people recommend you. And I think those are the things that will help you beyond just you learning, because the truth of the matter is the learning journey is an endless journey. But as long as you keep learning and you are also leveraging on your network, you keep publishing your stuff, you keep talking about what you do, nature itself would actually attract towards you. And make your work public. Just make your work public. If for free or even paid, just make your work public. People will come to you. That's it.
All right, thank you very much, Yomi, and thank you, everyone. Unfortunately, we had more questions, but because of time, we couldn't take some. So thank you very much, everyone. Abiola, Amina, thank you so much for your time. I think anybody, if you have any more questions, you can drop them in the chat box, and they can respond to your questions in the chat box. I think they should be able to do that. Yeah. So if you have any questions in general, you can just drop them in the chat box, and they'll be able to respond. I think someone was asking, yes, this summit is being recorded, and if you registered using the Luma link, you would get after this whole event, you will get an email with the link to the recording as well. All right, so we'll be going on a very short break, and actually we are going to be playing a little game. As Yomi mentioned earlier, the game, you have a reward at the end. At the end, I'll tell you the rewards, but I'm not telling you now. Play the game first. All right, so I'm going to drop a link now. You can just click on that link, and I'll tell you what next to do. Let me share my screen. Okay, one moment, please. All right, so I hope everyone can see my screen. So yes, click on the link that I just dropped, and then type out the code that you can see on the screen. I'll also type it out in the chat box right now. 5342 038. So once you click on the link menti.com, you just type out this code that you can see, and we can start the game. So just give me a thumbs up if you have been able to do that. Yes, all right, just drop a thumbs up if you have been able to log into the game. I'm going to wait for a few more seconds for people to join. There's a reward, you have a freebie at the end of the game. You want to play this. We have about 50 something people on this call, and I think only like about 4 or 5 people have joined. You guys don't like giveaway, you don't like freebies. All right. Because of time, I think we would kickstart. All right, I think more people are joining. Okay. We like freebies. Let's go. All right, so let's start. So basically, on your end, the way the game works, I would present on my screen. I would show you some questions, and on your end, it will show you some options to click, and you just click what you feel is the best option, and the person with the most points wins. I hope we understand. All right. Okay, players, get ready. Let's start. So you have to answer in a very short time. When was transition school incorporated? Look at your device. Answer as fast as possible. Okay, only 3 people got the correct answer. It's a very quick and fast game. It's very quick, it's very fast. So you have you have seconds to just answer. So before I proceed to the next one, all right, are we ready? Okay. What is the theme of this event? What was the theme for this event? You have less than 2 seconds. Wow, so people still missed it. Okay, I'm not going to judge anybody. If you missed the theme of this event, I'm not judging you. All right. Okay, we can see the who is leading. Uh, all right, let's continue. Okay, which one is not a tool for productivity? 3, 2, 1. Meta, obviously. Okay, moving on. I hope we are enjoying this game. It's just for us to relax. We have been learning a lot. Who is the founder of Amazon? If anybody should miss this question, I think we need to punish the person. Wow, who are those that missed this question? Report yourselves in the comment section. All right, I actually cannot see who misses the question, so there's no worry. Okay, what is the full name of our first speaker? If you joined us from the beginning, this should be a very easy question. Who was our very first speaker? All right. Well, this is a technical question. It was actually Yomi that was the first, but uh, this was a tricky question. This was a very tricky question. All right. You can see who is leading. Are we ready? Okay, let's start. What is the full meaning of CPU? Let's see those who went to secondary school. Central processing unit. Oh, who missed this question? Someone said Ojo. If this is we're not cheating in this game. This is fair and square. Everyone gets to win fair and square. All right, are we ready? We're almost done. Transition schools next cohort starts when? Let's see who has been following us on social media. Who knows when next we'll be having our next cohorts? Wow, only 4 people know. But now we all know that our next course will be starting on the 29th of January. That's on Monday. So in case you do not know, now you know. All right. RAM means, I think these are all stuff we all learned in computer in our primary school, secondary school. These are very easy questions. Everyone has voted. Okay. Okay, quite a number of people got this right. A round of applause for everybody. Let's see who is winning. Who is going to win? Who's going to get this giveaway? Who's going to win? I'm excited to see who's going to be the winner. And I think this is the last question. Amazon was originally called what? What was the original name of Amazon? Wow, only 2 people know. Our tech bros and tech sissies. So the original name for Amazon was Kadabra, and only 2 people got that right. Okay, I think this is the last question. This is the very last question. What is our conveyor's name? Nobody should pick no idea. Nobody should pick no idea. Wow, is your who missed this question? Who missed this question? Who missed this question? I don't have any comments for any one of you. All right, so thank you very much. Let's see who the winner is. Hmm. Let us see who the winner is. Wow, who is Bin? Please, I think all of you used coded names. How would I know who the real person is? Because somebody can come and lie and say they have been. Who is this person, please? A round of applause for the winner. You were the fastest and okay. Who are you? The person whoever the person is should either like unmute or you can just drop that it is me. I am. Don't identify as being nobody. Please, the you should have used your real name so that I can know who the real person is. Please don't. Let's not cheat. let's not cheat, please. Okay. All right. Okay, I think Busola Idowu, that's been. Are you sure? Why did you choose that as? Why did you choose that as your name? Oh, you're just kidding. Who is this person? Please. I want to announce the prize, but I'm afraid if I announce it without knowing the person, some people may claim to be the person. Yomi, what are we going to do?
Well, whosoever is being should probably like just send us a bill or something. Whosoever is being should just send us a
No,
bill.
because
And
that
we'll
I
tell
think
the
that's
person whatever.
that that stands in place for actually what we're about to continue in. I think we're about to move on
Well,
to
actually, yeah.
yes,
It's very
we're about to
actually important to have the
okay. I
next
think
thing.
okay,
You
well
could
maybe the
announce
second to the
actually.
next thing. Maybe the second to the
Okay,
next
yeah,
thing because we have workshop. We're going to be having the transition workshop. So we're going to be having breakout rooms now.
yeah,
Ben should please message me. And
yeah.
I think that, let me just since Yomi has said that I can announce. So basically, the winner is getting a free CV review, and we have a session on our order of events where we'll be doing a CV review workshop. So the winner of that game gets a free CV review. We'll be using that person's templates. All right. Congratulations to Bean. Bean doesn't want to claim, so we may give it to. Should we check the second runner up? Let me check the runner up because it's like the person is shy. Or was it a bot? Are you a bot? Are you not a real person? All right. So I think we'll be moving on to the next session, which is workshop. So like Yomi mentioned before, we are having I'm going to create the breakout rooms now and I'm going to show us how we can join it. So we'll be having breakout rooms in cloud and software engineering. We'll be having one in product design. We'll be having one in business data analysis. And I think I'm trying to check the last one. Last one is in UI UX and product design. All right. So let me share my screen so that we can see how that goes. Sorry, 1 second, everyone. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. Can everyone see my screen? I hope so. You can just give a thumbs up if you can. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Awesome. 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 So, okay. So the breakout rooms will just be for about 20 minutes. So you can ask there are tutors for each session. You can just ask them any questions pertaining to each of the sessions, and yes, the rooms are open. So you just click on this. There's this triangle activities box. You click on that, and you get to choose whatever room you want to join. So you get to join click this button by pressing join if you want to join cloud software engineering, product management, data and business analysis, and UI UX. So you get to join each of the session. All right. Does everyone understand how to join? And I hope we are joining in the sessions. Yes, project management is product slash project management. This is project management. This is for cloud and software engineering. This is for business and data analysis, and this is for product design. These are what we have for now, and what we have um, people to speak on in that matter. So you can join each of these workshops and sessions, and you can ask questions to the people there that will be hosting the events. I hope everyone understands. Does anyone have any question? Because I'll stop sharing my screen now so that I can monitor. All right. Okay, I think people are having difficulties joining. So I said you click on this. There's this activities button. I don't know if you're viewing on mobile or on your laptop. There's this activities um, button. Once you click on that, you would then see this where you can join any breakout. Maybe I should stop sharing. Sorry. Is anyone still having issues, or has anyone been able to join? No one has been able to join. Oh wow! Oh wow! 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 Oh wow! Let me try and join. Who has been able to join? Because everyone says they can't. They can't join right now. Has anyone been able to join?
I'm just saying it says so let's just talk through this. That's the beauty of technology. So
Okay.
we click the icon which says activities, right? And
People are saying it's only
what I
showing
am
for
saying is,
PC.
yeah, most likely.
Oh
So
wow!
I'm seeing breakout rooms, polls, Q&A,
Yeah, so you
and
click on the breakout rooms.
break
What I
into
check?
the breakout rooms. It's saying break into discussion groups, but let's see.
You said there's something.
Yeah, I can't like I just see break into discussion groups
Okay.
and then nothing else.
Oh wow!
So Derry, do you want to try it again? Just to see.
Yeah.
Yes, let me try again. Let me try one.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think people should be able to do so now. So I think you can maybe leave or try to join a another group. Please, can I let? Okay, can I see? Can anyone let me know if they have been able to join now? And if that's not possible, then we might just have to. We might just have to cancel this
So
session.
what I noticed is you did something, and the first one that came was join the product project management breakout room. So immediately you click on it, it takes you there. So people probably just have to do what they want.
All right. I'm trying to join on my mobile to also see what is happening.
So Damien, I think so it's saying that I can join the cloud and software engineering. So maybe you want to try adjusting the names again.
All right. So I think everyone should just let me know what group they would like to join. So you can just type in the chat box that okay, I would like to join um, product design, or I would like to join cloud, and I think I'll just try and add you from that so as not to delay time. Okay. All right. I'll try and add everyone according to what everyone says now. Just a moment, please. Okay, okay, okay. Sorry, please. You have to give me a second, everyone. So the names of the breakout rooms are exactly what you would want to learn. So there's cloud engineering. I think I'll just drop the names in the chat box as well.
Hi Damien, I'm still floating. Oh. How
I
do
think
I
I sent you an invite just now.
So it's for
Fair.
what I have here is cloud and software.
Oh, okay.
Same here.
If I've added you to the, let me remove it. I'm sincerely apologize to everyone for this whole mix-up, and I think we may just have to, if you have any questions for specific roles, we may have to have like another session or another conversation, maybe on our community page on WhatsApp or Slack, so as not to waste much of our time because it's already 3 p.m. If you're all right, so I think everyone should be back here. Um, Apologies for the whole miscommunication and
Yeah, was
trying
it?
to join. Hello, Yomi, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was short.
Yes, so quite a number of people were having difficulties. I think it's only your for cloud maybe that was working, but quite a number of people were having issues
Oh my.
joining other sessions. Yes, yes,
Oh
because
wow.
yes, quite a number of people couldn't join. I think the breakout room feature maybe only shows on desktop. You can't see it on your phones. So quite
Wow.
a number of people had issues
Yes.
joining.
Okay. I think we could make it open then. So anyone that has questions, then respective departments can probably just answer. Apologies about that, please. It wasn't something that we thought would happen. So I think we can have people like try to unmute, ask the question, and we'll respond. I think that will work. Apologies again. So if you have any question, please ask. I had during my own session with the software engineering, cloud engineering, I had been trying to like guide them through a pathway. If you're probably like getting into software engineering and you probably like want to learn, then I gave an example of how we do it internally, which is project based, and assign students to projects. And from day one, they're actually like able to like do research across. Okay, so like let me give an example in software engineering. You're not just coming to learn JavaScript, you're actually learning how to build our own current case study for our upcoming software engineering class is an appointment booking application, which is going to be open source. By open source, I mean it's going to be live for even developers across the world to be able to reuse. So a reusable package. So in that sense, with the students, we are able to like sit down together and we're able to like design a process flow for okay, what does it take to build, or what functionalities do we need in a or that are required for maybe like an appointment booking application to work. Yeah, excuse me. So the user parameters, the appointment parameters, what type of users are there, what kind of technology would be best to use, and a few other things like that. So those are basically like what I was explaining. And whether you're coming to transition school or not, whether you're even learning by yourself, you should learn from the approach of, okay, this is the project I want to build. So every single research, every single learning will be focused on that, because that way you're able to see platforms that help solve one problem or the other. And you're able to even easily go and meet maybe like a mentor. And the mentor is able to like tell you, okay, this is what you should probably do, this is what you should not do. So that's probably that is my response to the person that had asked that in our own session. So I don't know if another person has a question to ask. They can raise their hand and they can probably like ask, or probably drop in the chat. Okay, Otsi.
I'm sorry, my Wi-Fi connection was interrupted. I don't know if my case was addressed.
Oh, okay,
Moving
what's
from
that?
customer service in an engineering manufacturing organization to tech. So I'm even
Oh, okay.
trying to figure out what role in tech will I fit into. A lot of people around me say, oh, because of my personality and how organized I am, I'll do well in project management. However, some are of the opinion that, oh, because I'm good with numbers, seeing that I have an engineering background, I'll be good with data analysis. Omo, I'm confused.
Okay, yeah, I apologize. I didn't even know I wasn't my video wasn't on. So this is what I would recommend, right? First, there's one thing we have on our website. We have a quiz. Derek could probably like help share that, so it will be able to guide you. So the quiz itself, we usually have people that probably like come for consultation sessions. Like, okay, you know what? Just go through this quiz and let's discuss whatever recommendation this give you. However, those recommendations are still quite generic, right? So what's for someone like you that have been in customer service, was it a core engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering? What type of engineering was it?
Mechanical engineering.
Okay, mechanical engineering, but you do have like some knowledge about how those engineering thingy, like the registers, the terminologies, you understand how those things work, right?
Yes, I do. In the
Okay, good.
production and manufacturing sector.
Okay, good. Now, for someone like you, right, I wouldn't just say this is just a recommendation. This is not, I'm not saying this is what you should do. I wouldn't recommend that you just go for project management or data analysis and the likes, because one thing that is good here in the UK is the fact that labor is, how do I call it now? So no matter what you do, right, you'll be paid well. That's the truth of that. Whether you're in tech or not in tech, right? You'll be paid well. I personally, because you've been in customer service, and I want to recommend something around you trying to go like the IT support route for a start, right? Now, because you have normal engineering knowledge, that shows that you are open to being able to, even if it's customer service, you're quite open to embracing technical jargons quite fast. One thing about IT support itself, yeah, thank you. Technical
Correct.
support engineer, exactly. You basically are providing assistance to people. So you can look at that route. You don't, again, I said this during one of our webinars, you don't need to move into tech. You can align with tech, right? So you can look at roles in maybe like technical support engineering, IT support, and the likes. IT support, basically, Jerry, just share the link in the chat so it's easier to get. IT support, you can Google what IT support means. Information technology support. What you're doing is this. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're working with a software company or a fintech company, and what you're basically doing itself is you have in-depth knowledge as to what the company is doing. Then when people probably like give a ring or try to like maybe like they need some technical assistance or whatsoever, they give you a ring, they ask you a question, and you are able to provide whatsoever answer it is. In most cases, they will provide you a script that you have to use. And before even that, they will give you a proper orientation about the product. So it is easy for you to like align in that sense, rather than you just say you want to change career suddenly into project management. It's not so easy getting into project management or probably like product just like that. But when you come from that aspect itself, using your existing experience, it is easier for you to get into maybe like IT support or technical support and the likes. Yeah. So the idea is also product operations. I'm not sure.
Doesn't this
Okay, fair.
imply that
So that's
I
it.
need
Yeah.
to? Okay, so for this technical support, I'm sorry to every other person because it looks like I'm at the spotlight.
Yeah.
For this technical support role, does it require that I learn the technicalities of what the IT space is? Let's say, for instance, like when we started the program, we started with event planning. This that as we
Okay.
registered for this event, there were people behind the design of the event. Wouldn't it require that I learn about the product to know the technologies? Wouldn't it require that?
Now, the truth of the matter is, let's assume you're applying for the role, right? By the time you look for IT support roles or technical operations or technical support and all those things, now the most important is, and I think Adna is as well giving like exactly what is in my head, right? The most important is you already have communication skills, which is the most important in customer service. That is the most important they are looking for. The second aspect is now that you are able to now align. So they will definitely have requirements in, okay, let me probably like share, let me see if I can look for a job. So just to make this a bit, what's it called? IT support, just to make this a bit practical, right? And I'm sharing you my screen. So I'm sharing my screen now. Just a few moments. And yeah, this is basically it, right? So under the job response, this is the main thing: provide telephone support to our customers in order to maintain their systems and ensure customer is satisfied. Everything usually is around customer service, right? Now, the second part, which might now be required, is they will tell you the technical skills that are probably required, right? That is if the job really requires you having certain technical skills, because they will train you on the job. That's the answer. I hope that's clear. Any course title in particular? Okay. Oh, this is to Enomi. If you probably now want to have it like some foundational knowledge around what's it called, tech, that one is good, or that is a nice to have. It's not a must. Then you can now choose to like probably like say you want to probably like enroll for any of our programs, make us understand your actual need. Then we'll probably like structure something to meet that need. So I think that's it. So Chima, your question. I think you can unmute if you can. Chima, you have your hands raised. Okay, I don't know if any other person have a question aside Chima. It could be around transition, it could be around project. You said?
Yeah, I was about to just say what you're saying, that it could be around product design, or like basically the breakout rooms we're supposed to have. So it would be around cloud, software engineering, project or product management. Um, does anyone have any specific question concerning all these things?
You can probably like leave it in the chat as well. We'll be more than happy to respond. Okay, I think based on that, there's really no much questions. I don't think there's much questions since I'm not getting any feedback at the moment. But should you probably like have a technical need, or you have such questions, maybe about you transitioning or you getting established in your career and the likes, you can just always reach out to us, support@transitionschool.uk, or probably get on our website, and would like be more than happy to provide answers for you, whether you want to get into product design. There are different routes. You don't necessarily have to be like designing for a company. You can probably like be a freelancer, like at earlier talked about. Whether you want to be what's it called, a product or a project person. We have Ife here. He actually facilitates our project management sessions. Okay, Chima, you're asking a question again, or you're raising your hand again, rather.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone, thanks for the opportunity. So I was wondering, to have someone that is doing has a background, maybe we tried to explain some of these things before, has a background studied agri extension in Nigerian university, then did IT support in school, with IT teaching, ICT, all together, has done some courses, data analysis, use of Power BI, um, SQL, and Tableau. So he's doing masters right now in computer science. So what's your advice for the person?
Okay.
Including,
Now, for some reasons, your audio was a bit. I was thinking I could really pick it properly, but for some reasons, I still couldn't. So I don't know if you could probably like maybe rephrase the question itself, or probably drop it in the chat. Maybe it would be easier.
okay, am I audible enough right
Yeah, I
now?
think you are now. I think you are now.
Okay, okay. I'm asking about someone who has a BSc agriculture and who taught ICT in a school with IT support role also in
Yeah.
primary school. Who did some course in data administration and analysis, in Power BI, Excel, and SQL. So I'm also studying computer science. What is your advice for career pathway for such person?
Okay, so now it seems you've been like almost everywhere based on
I'm
like
nowhere.
Power Is that
I'm nowhere.
okay? So I think what I could recommend, right? The truth of the matter is there are opportunities everywhere, but I usually recommend that it is usually in something you find easy or find interesting to you. I find it easy teaching. I find it easy guiding people through stuff. Aside software engineering, I love building systems. I love stuff like that, and that is what I do. So it is easier for me. Um, I'm sure Derry can attest to this. I can do almost every other thing, right? However, I would rather just sit with software engineering and probably like teaching people because I find it easier, right? If you probably like put me beside or behind a Power BI system, or you put me behind cloud engineering itself, as because I'll just give you a bit background. I've worked as a not as, but I've worked supporting cloud engineers, like more like shadowing cloud engineers. I've worked as a project manager, product manager. I've worked with HR, right? And not just with in that sense, like having to take over an hiring process from start to finish. So yeah, so it's a factor of you intentionally picking a path that I think aligns best with you, yeah, and just go for it. Go for something that you know interests you the most amongst all of these things. There are different career paths, so it's just a factor of like you picking something that is interesting to you, and that's it. Okay, Okereke is saying it's not a question per se, but my background is in microbiology, and I'm currently interning in a tech firm, taking AWS cloud courses as well. I haven't quite found my footing, and I'm wondering how this would merge with my background in the future. Simple. When I was working at Sox as a social media manager, I had my boss then was a medical doctor. He traveled to the US and he joined AWS amazingly. Well, you're taking AWS cloud courses, and he joined AWS. And one could ask, what does medical doctor or you being a medical doctor align with you being in AWS? Now I tell you, he currently has a biotech firm, right? A startup actually, and they just recently got funded. So basically, what he did was he has always had interest in tech, but he also has his interest in medical sciences. So he found a way to merge both. So you can actually so because he worked with AWS, he was able to work in a department that was focused on data gathering for something around biological stuff. I can't remember, and I don't want to use the wrong word. So he mixed his interests, two different aspects of his interests together. So for yourself that studied microbiology, you could find different pathways. Now we live in the days of AI and data. You could find something around that and build something on biotech, or work around something on biotech, or look for an organization that is so invested in biotech. And as relating to tech, digital tech, not just tech as to research and the like. So I think that probably should be something you could be looking at in the future. But every single step you're taking along the way should now be in that path. I'm sure you probably know, I can't remember James something in Nigeria. They're a startup, right? Or they were a startup because they've shut down. But basically, they were able to find a mix of laboratory sciences and tech in itself, and they digitalized it. So digitalize whatever area of interest it is you have in microbiology, and that's it. I don't know, maybe if I want to say something on this, or I think David probably is on the call. Yeah, that's my feedback. Chikiziri. Yeah.
Hi, Yomi. So I think you pretty much covered, everything. So, yeah. So Chike, so you want to first of all, find some sort of balance between your microbiology and then what you want to, set out to do, right? I mean, so you can always fall back to microbiology if tech doesn't work. But yeah, so just find that sort of balance to say, look, I want to do this, and I'm taking the AWS cloud courses, and also find out what's the end game, right? What do you want to use it for? Do you want to be able to do you want to do something on your own, or you want to, do cloud fully and just dump microbiology? But the minute you put that decision in front of you and say, look, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to do it, it makes your path a lot clearer, right? And then it helps you to know what exactly you want to do. It helps you to know how. I think there was some sort of roadmap that Amina shared earlier. Maybe if you go back to the recording, you see some sort of guidance or some sort of roadmap, and then you gauge gauge yourself over time and say, look, okay, this is what I want to do, this is where I am. What else do I need to know? Who do I need to network with? Who do I need to meet? And stuff like that. And I'm sure you'll be fine. Maybe in another 1 year, 1.5 years, would have had nobody knows what they want to do at first. That's a given. I mean, so just like Yomi, my first job in the UK was as a customer service agent, and then that was for Digital UK when the UK was transitioning from analog to digital TV. That was years ago. Then moved to Royal Bank of Scotland, and then it's been project management, products. Did some HR jobs with Seplat and Diamond Bank before they got bought over by Access. There are some people that would, this is what they want to do, but I can tell you for free, and I'm sure Amina and Dave will tell you as well. Nobody almost knows what they are going to do at the end of the day, but I mean, you continue to fine tune yourself and you become better at it.
All right. So thank you very much, Ife, Yomi. I think David as well, even though he wasn't able to answer some questions in this what's it called? In this session, basically. But yeah, well, I've come to the end of this UK Tech Summit. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much to our speakers, Ife, Yomi, Amina, Abiola, and David. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll still be having a CV review session, but if you want to stay for that, it's optional because we've taken this is already past the time we planned for the event. Please don't forget to fill this feedback form. As Yomi had mentioned, follow us on social media as well. Yes, please follow us on social media. There are a lot of interesting things you can stay up to date on some of our cohorts and programs that will be coming up. You get important information about that, all our information about upcoming programs, upcoming events. So these are, I think I'm sharing my screen now. You can see our social media for Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook as well. And yes, like I mentioned, we have upcoming programs. Our course will be starting on the 29th of February. You can still register. You can check our website, which is transitionschool.uk. I think I'll drop that in the chat box now for anyone that wants to check out our website. So you get more information there about all our courses we have. We have short courses and we have boot camps as well, so you can check that out. People are asking how to connect with some of the speakers. I think the speakers can drop their LinkedIn or anywhere they would prefer for people to connect with them, or they are open to people connecting with them. And yes, I'd just like to know how we feel about today's session, how we felt about today's session, if we enjoyed it, if we were happy to be here, if you are still curious about some things, and if you have no feelings at all, you can just drop an email